what I do because my situations can jeopardize other people. You know what I'm saying? And it made me think more. Made me think more being incarcerated.
Okay. So, what are your next steps with getting out of prison?
My next steps is getting out of prison first and foremost. You know, I gotta leave that up to the Most High, and I just gotta do the Lord work. You know what I'm saying? Like me getting a part of the ISUPK under Commander General Rihanna. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that'll be one of my major steps to getting me out because you know what I'm saying. I'm doing the work of the Lord, and you know everything gonna fall in place because you don't have nobody that's really trying to acknowledge the prisons. Like nobody don't really care. You got guys in here that's really rehabilitating themselves and stuff like that. So you know that's the main objective that I'm focused on. It's just doing the Lord work. You know what I'm saying? Which is, you know what I'm saying, making sure that I'm hitting the ISUPK on the map and giving Commander General Yohana the honors that he deserves for pushing this truth out into the universe. Because if it was never for him, you know what I'm saying, I had been learning about the truth a little bit, but it was like from some false camps and stuff like that. You know, the ISUPK, they got the truth, everything is biblical, how they move and all that. So, you know, that's why I chose that camp to be a part of it. Yeah.
Okay. So let me ask you this. And due to this environment and how it strengthens your morality. Shalom. How you doing today, sir?
Shalom.
All right. These are prison entities.
The Bible. If you want to get active, just get active. You don't have to broadcast it. If you want to get active, just get active. If you want to get active, just get active. You don't have to broadcast it. No, we right here. If you want to get active. We'll die for what we believe in. Our King died for this. We'll die for this. We'll die for this. Our King died for it. We ain't going nowhere. You understand? I'm going to show you, the Bible says, this right here, this is your culture, black man. And you can't be scared to take back your culture. Your culture is the Bible. And there are many people that don't want you to stand up and be strong. You can stand up and be strong and speak up against anything that goes against God. Because at the end of the day, God has the final say so. That's right. You better understand that. That's why we can be out here with no fear. That's why we can be out here with no fear. Because we understand the true power. You think these are the first Muslims to come out here? But you know how long we've been out in D.C.? It's been Muslims who've been out here that hated what we've been doing for a long time. And guess what? They're not here and we are here. We are here. You understand? Because one thing they're not going to do, they're not going to stop the Lord's program. You can't go against the God of the Bible. That's the problem. The God of the Bible beats every last one of the gods that exists. Every last one of the gods that exists on the earth is nothing compared to the God of the Bible. Right. Yahweh is the one true living God. That's right. Yahweh.
Your ancestors came out of the reason you don't know anything and you're not able to really grab onto it it's because you're really not a Jew. You're Khazarian. Your ancestors came out of the cave after the time that my ancestors ran and hid amongst the Africans. Your people, are not the Jews. Right. I'm going to show you. Read that. Oh, God. It's the book of Revelation, chapter 3, verse 9. Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not. You know what? And are not. See, the world knows you as the Jews. But Christ is telling his people that there are people that say that they are Jews and are not. Oh, no, I do claim it. I do. Yeah. But what? I said, but do lie. But do what? But do lie. What did he say? Keep going. I will come, behold, I will make them to come and worship before thy feet. Let me tell you a prophecy that's going to happen whether you believe it or not. You're going to go into chains and your entire race. But if you want to separate yourself from them so that you won't get the punishment that they're going to get, if you want to separate yourself from them, they'll do what? I come and worship before thy feet. What you should do, you should bow down before the real Jew. That's what the Lord wants you to do. The Lord wants you to bow down before his true children with your face toward the ground. Let's see you do it. Give him a hand. If you really want to show a real act of humility, you will bow down and kiss the boots of the children of the faith. Right. I will not shake your hand. But if you want to show that you're sorry, you can't kiss my boots. All right, then you can kiss every brother out here boots. Right there, kiss that one. Right here. Yeah, you know why the Lord is showing you this, Black Hispanic? Because he really loves who? I love you. Because God really loves you. There's so long in this world, Black Hispanics have believed that God hasn't been there to fight for us. The Lord said, "Vengeance is mine, I will repay." And the way he's starting with the repayment of the vengeance that he's bringing is to show his love for you. Black Hispanics, you don't believe that God loves you because you look at your condition right now on this place and you think that the white man is God. You think that he's going to always be at the top and rule the world. Well, God is showing you right now that he loves you because he brings a fake Jew out here to kiss the boots of the real Jew.
Get over it, and you can't get past slavery, bro. It's so embedded into your brain that anytime anybody starts talking about something else, you start going back into slavery.
Listen. This is what white people always do. They try to make people seem bad for remembering the past, but remembering the past is an American value.
Yeah.
Do you remember 9/11?
Yeah.
Why? It's in the past.
Right. I do remember 9/11.
Okay.
I'm not going to take 9/11 in the memory of it and then take an entire people group
I want to finish my
and
point
try to pin what happened with 9/11 on them. And I'm not going to walk around.
But they did. America did do that. America did want to go get vengeance for what happened. America did go get vengeance for what happened in 9/11. And the people who did 9/11, the people who flew them planes in those Twin Towers, the pilot who could be responsible died. But they still want to go drop bombs on what you say innocent people. And this is why I say it's a hypocrisy when it comes down to Christianity. Because American Christianity, white Christianity is different from black people's Christianity. It's different. We have to be like, forget the slavery. We need a better time to pray for forgiveness. Meanwhile, white Americans, their Christianity is vengeance.
So too, is that you
passion as you do, what does that mean? Like what reminds you every day about that?
Just about the passion of the truth and raising up the zone. That's all the spirit of the Lord, man. Mm-hmm. You understand? Once you come in the truth and you understand what these scriptures about, how the Israelites got in this captivity and how we can get out, you know what I'm saying? That spirit of the Lord, man, you have to fully embrace that in order to control and take over his zone and teach the men under you. And that's what I fully did. I made a conscious decision to dive into the truth head first. You understand? And this is my life. You understand? Like I said before, I've lived on both ends of the street. So I know what's right and wrong. I know where every Black and Hispanic and Native man should be. And this is the best thing for all our people. So when it comes to raising up the zones and things of that nature, I don't see no other thing that we can do as Black people. This is what we should be doing on the earth. We should be raising up these zones. We should be living the example of serving the Lord and showing other brothers and sisters that you can do this and still be yourself. And show other brothers and sisters how to come into the school and follow the Lord and not have other people looking down on you, making fun of you. Because that's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? They're going to say, we've all been saying we in the cult. You understand? We've all heard those things. And we embrace it in the school. And we flip it and tell them, yes, I'm a cult leader. Mm-hmm. So that's what it's about for me, man. I just fully dove into it. You know what I'm saying? I would pick no other life for myself. No brother under me.
Man, so that's heavy. I want to speak on this too. Mm-hmm. On the topic of life. So the brothers and sisters in the world, their life is horrible. And as we obviously know in the UPK, our lives were horrible in the world. But now, being in the truth, you see brothers, they look in the truth, they say we hardcore, right. You can't eat pork, right. You can't smoke. You understand? If you may, can you just break it down for that being in the truth, you don't lose anything.
Nah, you ain't losing nothing. As a matter of fact, you become healthier. You know what I'm saying? Being in the truth, you learn how to research and read and love your body more. You know what I'm saying? Know what you're putting in your body. You know what I'm saying? Being in the school helps you. It doesn't hurt you. But a lot of people will definitely, like I said, look at you weird because you don't smoke. Why? Because everybody else smokes. Right. They'll look at a sister weird because she's staying with her man.
Right.
Why? Because other sisters are whores. Mm-hmm. So what we doing here is we make the truth and following God look cool. Right. So now we look at somebody else that's smoking and feel bad for them. Mm-hmm. And we almost make fun of them. Because your breath stank. Because your lips look like you've been chewing black crayons. You understand? These are things that we don't see while we in the world, though. It's normal to us. You know what I'm saying? I can remember being in the world, smoking all the weed I could smoke, and walking in different buildings, schools, and, different things like that, and not caring. Like Gucci said, Kush is my cologne. But when I smell it now, it's like, God damn, that nigga stank. You know what I'm saying? Niggas smell bad. You understand? So they can't make fun of us, man. Being in here is something definitely worth doing, and it is not something that makes you uncool. It makes you cooler than everybody else. It's like back in the day when hip-hop first came up. You understand? All the songs were about something that meant something. You understand? And that's what we do. Everything we do means something. It's not like today's rap where they just talking on the beat and rapping, singing all day. Right. You know what I'm saying? Teaching people how to kill each other and destroy themselves. You understand? So this is the best thing you could do on the planet. And never let somebody make you feel bad for following the Lord. Right.
Sir, that's a heavy point. Now, I just want to say this. Since now we just ran over, smoking weed, all the other stuff, it ain't cool. And it's on level to the Most High.
Damn right.
So I want to talk about sacrifices. You see, in the world, especially our people, we want everything then and there. Right. They're like, boom, want to get rich. Boom, I want this car. Boom, I want this house. Right. But of course, in the Bible, we got to build up this nation brick by brick.
Damn right.
Like literally, brick by brick. So if I may, sir, you understand, to the people who just don't get the concept of sacrificing, they go through the grind to get what we got to get to the kingdom, sir. So what you got to tell to the people who just really just impatient?
What they say, man, all money ain't good money. You understand? Being in the truth is making the ultimate sacrifice. It's like, would you rather be rich tomorrow or rich forever? And that's what we do here in the kingdom, man. We building up our like the scripture say, the kingdom of heaven is within you. You understand? So we building that kingdom for tomorrow. Damn the day. You cannot serve two masters, like the Bible says. You understand? You cannot serve God and mammon. You understand? And that's that money. You get caught up in trying to be rich, and you gonna forget about the Lord. King David said, man, you know what I'm saying? He saying a prayer to the Lord, and he said, Lord, bless me, where I don't have too much, where I forget about you. But not enough, well, then I curse you. You know what I'm saying? Paraphrasing, of course. Just give me enough, and that's what we look for in here, man. I don't want to be rich. The scriptures say, man, it's harder for a rich man easier for the camel to get through the needle's eye, paraphrasing, than the rich man to get into the kingdom. So we know what it's about, dealing with the money. Now, am I saying that you got to be poor? No. Go get you a job, man. But don't disobey the Lord for that job. You understand? Don't neglect your responsibilities in the truth for that job. You understand? So definitely coming in here, you will see that the Lord will be with you, though. In that job that you wanted, you know what I'm saying? You possibly could get that. A lot of brothers that pick their slaveries over the truth end up getting fired. The scriptures say that. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you lose because of me, I'll give it back to you times 10, paraphrase.
Right.
But what it say? What you try to get and neglect me, you're going to lose it all. You understand? So that's how we live in here, man. Damn all of that. Materialistic shit. If you can get it and serve the Lord, then so be it. But don't ever put anything over the Most High.
Hey, sir, that's a heavy point. But I did want to say this. Of course, I can tell, I can tell by the way you roll that Cap Marquardt that you used to roll with Captain Marquardt, like heavy.
Rolls me up from the dust. Now we come from the same place, just in two different zip codes. You understand?
So yeah, I just want to bring that up because I know a lot of brothers trying to be, being that he's the camp leader of the Midwest. You understand that his spirit comes to us and of course to you. So I just want to say this with Cal Marquardt, how much does his brother, just mean it?
Man, Cal Marquardt, man, that's one of my spiritual fathers, man. Under Commander General Hunter, of course, all the generals, Cal Marquardt, Captain Zariat, all have been over us, man. We take a little bit from everybody, and it goes into our spirit, and then we just dish it out how we receive it. That brother is definitely a powerful leader in the Midwest. Came in the Midwest, leaving Philly, rose up all these different zones. Man, I can remember calling the school. Cap Marquardt was still living in Philly. You know what I'm saying? And I say, Cap Marquardt, man, I would call for different answers to certain questions. I wasn't even really trying to join the truth. I was just trying to be smart. I found out about the truth. And I said, what is school at in the D? He said, you the school. I didn't even understand it. But I sat back and I watched him and saw how he moved, and then I understood. And that's when I knew it was time for me to step my game up. So the way he moved and following Commander Junior Hunter, raising up all these different zones, it definitely rubbed off on me. And that's a powerful brother, man. And it's definitely a blessing for all of us that the Lord rose him up, brought him into school. He learned directly from the feet of the generals, and we all get the pleasure and opportunity to learn at the foot of Cap Marquardt, and you can see in the work we produce. You understand that spirit moves on and lives on in us.
Carl, and I want to say this too, sir. A very, very heavy point to me, sir. Having a son in the truth.
Damn right, man. That's heavy, man. I got 3 sons in the truth. And it's something amazing, man. It's so amazing, man. Before my father passed away, man, I told him about the truth. And my father, he said, man, I ain't been serving the Lord all this time, so why am I starting now? I said, damn, that's a man that's destroyed. But I still love him, of course, because he's my father. So for me to be here and watch my sons come up right up under me, right in here, is a blessing, man, because you get to see your lineage and understand how you will live on, and Lord willing, be in the truth through them. You understand? So it's definitely heavy to see your sons and daughters, man. You understand? I got 11 kids in the school, in the truth. You understand?
Most high in Christ.
I'm definitely building an army. So to see them, coming in and coming to the past, all the things of that nature, things that we didn't really get to do coming up under our parents because they wasn't serving the Lord. It's definitely heavy to see for us to break that cycle. You understand? Now my kids ain't gonna come up talking about Santa Claus and birthdays and Christmas and all this goofiness.
Right.
They gonna come up talking about the past. So it's definitely a blessing to be able to see that.
Damn right, Cap. Man, Cap, I appreciate your time. This was the interview I definitely wanted.
Damn right.
So I appreciate it, sir. Man, we got Officer 5000 Lamakia Allah, Chicago camp. Of course, sir. This is the interview, too. I've been trying and dragging to get this interview. And I finally got it.
You're welcome, people. This is a rarity. Y'all just witnessed basically a rebirth of someone.
That's right.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. So if I may, sir, think about Oregon.
Okay.
Think about Oregon. Think about your childhood. How was that?
My childhood. So who mostly you do not know me when it comes down to how I live back in the world. My childhood. So of course, like every black person, they don't know their father. You understand? So of course I did not. But on the flip side, I have a white mother. You understand? So I didn't grow up black at all. The only side of the family I know is my mom's side, which is all white. I grew up spoiled little brat. That's probably why I act like I do now. But at the end of the day, like I was never punished or beaten or none of that. I got everything I wanted. And but at the same time, I was the only black person in my own town, the entire town, all the way up from middle school, all the way up to the time I graduated and moved out of the town I was in. So I was all around white folk. You understand? I was living amongst the enemy for 18 years.
Good night.
You understand? So when I met Captain Debar Moff, of course he was a trooper at the time. This is 11 years ago. When I was 19 when I met Captain Debar Moff, of course trooper at the time. But he started. I didn't really want to meet him. It just kind of was forced upon me. Pause. But at the end of the day, he started teaching me the truth and this and this and this and that. Of course, I didn't want to listen. Like every beginner never wants to listen or change their lives to the truth. But because of how I grew up, I know white people better than a lot of brothers know white people because I lived amongst them for so long. I know the ins and outs, the quirks, and so forth and so such. So when he told me that they were the devil, it didn't really take me very long time to believe that.
Right.
You understand? I even told my mom what I was getting taught. Of course, she didn't like it, as any woman or white woman would. But after a little while, she was like, yeah, the white race, my race, it are evil. She tells me that all the time. And when I call my mom, or if she's joking around with me, she'll be like, Lamont. Of course, she doesn't gonna call me what she birthed me as. So she'll be like, Lamont, I know I'm the devil the Bible speaks of, but can you help me out real quick? I promise you, this is how my mom is. She knows, like, she does not like her own race after everything I taught her and stuff like that. She just, she just wants to hopefully be one of the slaves instead of the ones that are unalive when Christ comes back.
Right.
And that's fine. I told her, you did my laundry for 18 years. You can do it for the rest of your life in the kingdom of heaven. I got you, Ma. You're on shack and everything. You'll live one of the best lives of the white folk. In captivity, of course. But yeah, that was a little bit more of a background on my upbringing. Of course, I was a track star, NFL. I was a plug back in the day when it came down to just being perfect and those whole things. And now, in the truth. But you catch my drift.
Man, sir, I did want to say this too. You basically summed up Oregon for me.
Yeah, Oregon is just white. Unless you like nature, there's no reason for you to go to Oregon unless you're gonna visit Portland. Like the Trailblazers and so forth and so such. But if you want to go kill a big bear, go to Oregon.
I want to say this, sir. How you ever had a crazy experience with one of your white friends? What happened?
He tried to get down to the nitty-gritty. This was the second precursor to what made me truly decide to commit to the school. This is number 2. There was one more that it was directly from the Lord. You understand? So number 2 was my white friend. This is after I think like maybe 2 months of studying under the bar, but not conforming over completely. Like I was still hanging out with my white friends, I was still smoking, but I was still kicking it with the bar, Moff having drinks and everything like that, watching classes. So one day, me and one of my old white friends, we drove back down to her hometown so I could visit my mom and he was visiting his family. And then one of the friends that I grew up with in 2nd grade, like him and I were inseparable from 2nd grade onward. I went to kick it at his house because he never moved out of the town. And we're smoking and all that. We're playing Madden, or no, he's playing 2K. And I started, how you learn something new, you want to talk about it. So I was telling him everything I was learning, Bible, all the scriptures and shit like that. Excuse my French, but I was just breaking down my entire new experience that I experienced at that time. And he was agreeing with everything I said. Like I was like, like blacks in America are the tribe of Judah, or Israelites in the Bible. He said, yeah, I know. Okay, that was just the first indicator. I'm like, okay, that's odd. And so I was like, he was like, and white. He said, before I even asked him, he said, yeah, the white people are Esau. He said, I'm Esau. Literally said this.
Good night.
And we're only 19 at this time. And I'm like, okay, I didn't expect that. You're like, that threw me for a loop. And then he was like, yeah, we're natural enemies when it comes down to like our biologicalness. He's telling me this now everything I'm learning from DA and other UPK in my pre-years or pre-time in the school or deciding what I'm doing, he's breaking down shit that I didn't think he was going to tell me. And I was like, okay, this is how I was talking about it. And at that point, it's like,
he's the man that came up with the term African American. Right. We from now on we call African American. But now somebody run up on you and say we should leave this place, you turn to them and say, where we gonna go? Right.
They have the American flag and the symbols of red, white, and blue, but it's black people.
Right.
So it's not they're not repping who they are. Right. They're repping the country that they serve.
These leaders that don't care about their community, you know what I'm saying, that always, you know what I'm saying, just focusing on winning gold medals and championships and different things of that nature, and have no thought to the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian community. It's gonna come back at home.
Enough for hearing that happened in Tulsa, Oklahoma, Rosewood, even Emmett Till was somewhat similar. It's like once something happens to a white woman, that's the justification to kill all niggas.
At the same city, at the same time as the Klansmen, the Purple Boys had a mass march on the other in downtown, but blocks away, and did not cross paths with that.
Real Nigga University in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey, Shalom, Israel, give it up. You understand? Y'all know how we do it. Round table, true ISUPK, man. Y'all know how I go down. We got a special guest in here with us tonight. Before I introduce the brother, you know, we got to do our normalcy. Shall I say, you understand? Of course, we want to give it up to the Most High. You understand?
That's right.
Give it up. You know what I mean? Yahweh in the Hebrew, the God of Blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. All right. Also want to give it up to our King, Yahweh Shah Mashiach, whom the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. And of course, we got to give it up to the man with the plan, none other than Commanding General Yohanan.
That's right.
Happy to give it up. So, you know how we do it. To my right, you know what I'm saying? He on a consistent basis doing what he do. He ain't been on injury reserve yet. You know what I'm saying? Okay, no, stop. To my right, we got Officer Lamar Yala in the building. You understand? Doing what he do. All right. To my left, all right, we got Officer Yaradan in the building doing what he do.
That's right.
Every week, keeping us fly with the gear. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't copped you a Real Nigga University t-shirt as of yet,
right?
I don't know what you waiting on. What you waiting on? You must not be real. Income tax. Income tax.
Income tax.
All right. To my far right, in the building doing what he do every week, we got Officer Iwalam in the building. And to my far left, we got Officer Mayad in the building. Man, listen, special guest in here with us tonight. Travel all the way from New York City. You understand?
New York City.
Coming in this and on the round table, true, making his presence known. None other, you understand, than Captain Kadazai.
That's right. What's going on?
He's in here with us tonight. Mr. Cross the Line. Mr. Historian. I mean, the accolades go on and on. What's up, Cap? Talk to
Christ. Not much, man. As always, you know what I'm saying? Big ups to Captain Mawakwada's heavy hitting crew holding it down in the Midwest.
Damn right. Before you continue, I also want to make sure I give it up to my engineer team, Officer Ramawan in the building. You understand? Give him a hand. And Officer Ra'ash. You got the floor, Cap.
Yes, sir.
Talk to me, man. What's going on, Cap?
Well, as always, you know what I'm saying? I appreciate the invite.
That's right.
Appreciate y'all having me here.
That's right.
Chicago is like a second or third home. You know what I mean?
Damn right, dog.
I don't know which one, second or third. Probably second. I'll be out here often.
That's a fact. That is a fact. I tried to recruit him some years ago, couldn't get him. You know what I'm saying? Captain Zayak would not allow that to happen. I said, damn.
I was definitely trying to get traded in the draft, but it was you know what I'm saying? It ain't work out. I remember talking to General Muhammad, and he's like, listen, both them brothers is trying to build their zone. Captain Mawaquad would drug the entire East Coast and bring them to the Midwest to grow his zone. So I was like, God, oh God, I understand.
Hey, sometimes you gotta do whatever it takes. You know what I'm saying? Right. It don't matter. You know what I'm saying? We got to get this thing built. You know what I'm saying? And of course, it was an amazing show last night on Cross the Line. Man, give it up. You know what I'm saying? Cross the Line on radio. Something that Captain and Tazar Yak and Captain Katazar, man, they built that thing up. Something thorough. You know what I'm saying? Before it was Cross the Line, what was it called?
Israelite Vibes.
Israelite Vibes.
I see y'all been around.
I was a fan. You know what I'm saying? I remember that. I remember that joint. You know what I'm saying? So last night they had an amazing show. General Yohana was in the building, doing what he do, answering questions, and then they had General Muhammad in the building as well. You know what I mean? So they had a two-head monster in that thing. You know what I'm saying? And of course, that was a very beautiful thing because this truth is growing like something you could not believe. You know what I'm saying? This truth is growing and spreading faster than cancer. You know what I'm saying? In a positive way. You understand? And it must get out here, man. So tonight we got Captain Katazar, man. We want to go over a few things and how special it is to have this brother up here. You know what I'm saying, during this time, you know what I'm saying, where they trying to basically persecute the so-called Hispanics. You know what I'm saying? I done seen some horrific videos, brother. You know what I'm saying, that they doing to our brothers and sisters. And of course, in the ISUPK, we teach that Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are family.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? We standing on that. We ain't moving off of that. And we got Captain Katazar in here tonight, gonna go through a couple stories and a couple things that he want to bring out and show you how important it is, you know what I'm saying, for Blacks and Hispanics to stand together in this time that we in.
Damn right.
We in the end. Give me right on that, Katazar.
Okay.
We are in the end. You know what I mean? So go ahead, Ramon.
Before we start,
Please.
We do get the super chat. We got it started working last episode.
That's right. That's right.
You know, make sure y'all like, share, comment, hit the super chat, support. You know, this thing we got going.
Man, please, you know what I'm saying? So, other than that, what's going on, Cap? I know you had a few battles past month, right? A breakdown. I seen you was doing something. You know what I'm saying?
So I got a new YouTube channel. You know what I'm saying? It's UPK History.
Okay.
Definitely gonna be dropping some different clips. You know what I mean? Some of the old highlights as well as some information coming out. I think I'm not gonna do another lecture no time soon, but as far as like messing with you,
don't think he hit. I'm listening to it like, yeah, I got you.
but I think just the way everything is with TikTok and the shorts, you know what I'm saying. I'm put out some micro breakdowns, like, you know what I'm saying, just little bits of information and archaeology and stuff like that. So the channel's primarily going to be history.
Okay.
So, you know what I'm saying, anybody want to tap in and subscribe. Outside of that, working on another book.
Okay.
It's called The Sons of Joseph. So it's going to be on the Caribbean. It's going to primarily be on Puerto Rico and Cuba. And then, you know what I'm saying, like, you know, the adjoining islands of like the Tainos and the Arawaks, and, you know what I'm saying, different things like that. And
can you real quick, can you please tell the people what books you have already?
So I have 3 books that are out now, ready and available on Amazon. So it's Issachar. I got a book on Issachar that's out. I gotta think. Gad is gonna be released next.
Okay.
That was the one that I dropped around the Passover. We came from the east, which, you know, proves a transatlantic voyage.
Okay.
Destroys the Bering Strait. You know, different evidence like that kind of explains, you know, how we left Assyria, came over to the Americas. and Reuben my excellence, which shows the difference between Gad and Reuben. Everybody always says, oh, well, how are the Seminole Indians different than the other tribes? Well, this is that missing link for anybody who wants it. And
man,
like those,
give it up for Captain. You know what I mean? Go ahead, you gonna say something?
Those books basically, man, like, you know, I made them in a very short, potent and palatable way for anybody to pick them up and not only understand, but they like I wrote them like a battle book. Right. Like it's like a historical precept book for you to be able to pull out to be like, yeah, you know, Gad ain't Israelites. All right. Go page 7.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know, the Bering Strait is what we crossed. All right, let me go into this one. So just to have that information, you know what I'm saying, at your fingertips that can't be disproven, you know.
Damn right. Give it up for the Captain. Listen, man, history is a very important thing. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you're dealing with people who have lost history. You know what I'm saying? And when I say lost, I mean the blacks and Hispanics, we don't know, you know what I'm saying, our history beyond slavery because we were cut off. You know what I'm saying? And we don't not knowing that, you don't know what customs you used to keep. You know what I'm saying? And most importantly, you don't understand what God that you were serving before you went into captivity. Our people have chose to just bow down, take the religion of our oppressor and shit. Said, hey man, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? That's a man that gave up. I will on.
Please, man, if I could, Cap, I've been waiting for anybody to just step up and tell me that the Hispanics ain't Israelites, just so I could bring out the books and show them the information that they've never seen before.
That's it. That's it. You know what I'm saying? They so quick, you know what I mean, to dispute what we say in the ISUBK. When we tell you that blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians are the 12 tribes, it ain't because we just woke up and just felt like that.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? This has been, the school been erected since 1969, which means these brothers are biblical scholars, historical scholars. And Captain Katazai, he one of those brothers, you know what I'm saying, that love history.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He picked up the gift and, man, listen, ran with it like something you could not believe. You see what I'm saying? So it's important that our people learn our identity so we would know what roadmap to follow, you know what I'm saying, for success for us. You know what I'm saying? And it's just a very important thing. You know what I mean? So do you plan on writing books for all 12 tribes, or what's your plan with that?
I plan on doing that, and a couple of other history books as well. But I'm definitely going to touch on, you know, every single tribe so that, you know, everybody got a reference point. I'm also working on translations so that, you know, we could get them in Portuguese, Creole, Spanish, and I also want to go back, re-edit some of them. You know what I'm saying? I found like a mistake or two here or there. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you get a little, you know, get an extra N in many, and it's Manny now or something. You know what I mean?
Listen, if you in the IHBK and you want to be a historical scholar in this school, I'm not sure why you ain't picking up the phone and calling this brother. You see what I'm saying? If you really serious about this history, this is the brother that you pick up the phone. I call. Okay, I want to know something. You know what I'm saying? I pick up the phone. Hey, Katazai, man, what's up? Don't get me right, Cap. You know what I'm saying? I call Cap like, man, give me the 411 on this. You know what I'm saying? And when you dive into that history, man, learning that blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians out of 12 lost tribes of the nation of Israel, brother, that means you dealing with a royal bloodline. That means that the people that you see getting persecuted right now are the God's chosen people. The white man have chosen to sit over the top of God's chosen people. Them so-called Mexicans that you see, the tribe of Issachar book he wrote on them, you see them and you think they insignificant. You know what I'm saying? And that you could just do whatever the hell you want with them. Meanwhile, this is God's beloved children. And when you touch God's beloved children, eventually you're going to have to pay for that, man. America got a hellified punishment coming, you know what I'm saying, for the persecution that they doing to the Hispanic tribes.
That's right.
What they doing to the Hispanic tribes right now, and just the 12 tribes as a whole, this is not going to go unanswered.
Right.
You understand? To think that this is going to go unanswered, that means you believe that the Most High God is unjust. If you believe that these people just getting deported and put on dog cage, a lot of you talking about go back to your own country. America is their country.
Right.
You understand? Right. Texas and California and what's some more of them states over there. That was the Arizona that was in inhabited by Issachar. You know what I'm saying? They was removed from that land. This is their land.
Right.
You see what I'm saying, Lamar?
If I may, like, and this is what you're saying is so heavy about the crime that they commit against our people and they have to pay for it. Look at what's happening in Israel right now to the ones that stole our identity.
Yeah, right.
And Iran's dropping bombs on them because the crime they committed about stealing who claiming to be us, stealing our land and doing all the evilness to them, to them. That's retribution for some of the crimes that they committed against us.
Yeah, that's right. You know what I'm saying? So with that, what you got for us, Cap? I know some things you want to get into in here tonight. You know what I mean?
I think you phrased it best in talking about lost history, and in passing in different circles that I run in, even like Clubhouse, I've been having some discussions, and one of the things that I see amongst the proclaimed FBAs, you know what I'm saying, which is usually who gives the most pushback against black and brown coming together, is basically like there's no responsibility or Mexicans looking to the tribe of Judah, so-called African Americans, for help, or inside of this liberation. They feel as though they have no responsibility or no allyship there. And one of the immediate things that I said was, so y'all don't remember the Alamo then. You know what I'm saying? Like,
give it up.
On Christ.
Yeah, right.
I'm like, when Texas was Mexico,
right,
and the white Texans, which is what people don't know, which is one of the things we'll get into tonight, were trying to keep so-called African Americans enslaved. It was Mexicans who banded together and fought with them to fight for freedom.
That's it.
And then they want to turn around and be like, oh, that was so long ago and this and that. I'm like, wasn't you just like, you know what I'm saying? And I hate to say it like this, but crying about slavery a minute ago.
Right.
I'm like, wasn't that so long ago? No, it wasn't. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, all these events we're talking about is 2 to 3 grandmothers ago.
That's it.
So what are we talking about in that? And then there's a lot of history where what it really boils down to, and what I find is the reason as to why we have this divide ties into what we were talking about last time is because of the so-called white man. It's because of white supremacy not only dividing us, but it's the same reason why black folks are into Egypt. You're not into Sumeria because the white man's not into Samaria.
Right.
If it was a damn a Sumerian tablet on the dollar bill instead of an Egyptian pyramid, y'all would be looking to worship that shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But because the white man in masonry is into Egypt over Sumeria, you like that. Well, it's the same reason why you hate Mexicans.
Right.
It's the same reason why you hate Latinos, and also why we think that we hate each other, when there's not only a history of cultural diffusion, there's a history of allyship all throughout the Americas.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's definitely some of the things that I want to touch on. Like, if we could, before we get to the Alamo, but I guess since with all this going on in California, could we go with the Zoot Suits riots?
Yeah,
you know
I
what
just
I'm
want to
saying?
say something real quick, just to highlight the point. The whole foundation of Black Americans or whatever, like, they so quick, you know what I'm saying, to become be an enemy to the Hispanics, but meanwhile they will accept the so-called Africans, you know what I'm saying, on the drop of a dime. You see what I'm saying? But y'all got to get me right on this. When have the Africans ever helped the plight of so-called Negroes in America?
Never.
I've been trying to think about a time period, you know what I'm saying, when that has ever happened. And I can't ever think of one, you know what I'm saying? But guess what? In every ghetto in America, guess who in the ghetto with black people? Hispanics. You understand? Now the Africans, they open up stores and come get all our money, but when it comes to where they live at, you never know where the hell they live at. See what I'm saying? But yet, I'm coming to y'all down, but yet you looking at them, you know what I'm saying, like they your people. You know what I'm saying? When they ain't never Africans, these so-called Africans you love, and and what you claim to be, they ain't never helped us ever. You know what I'm saying? In our plight here in America. As a matter of fact, when they come here, they put a proud head up against you. You know what I'm saying? Act like they better than you and hate you, right? And you sitting here is trying to look. It's like as black people, damn near we so mentally sick. It's like the if you hate us, you get our love. You know what I'm saying? The more you hate us, white people hate us like something you cannot believe. all we could do is love them more and more and more. Same thing with the so-called Africans, you know what I'm saying? But you want to make the Hispanics, you know what I'm saying, the focal point of your hatred. You know what I'm saying? Why? Because that's what brothers do. You wonder why so much black on black crime. It's easy to hate another victim of white supremacy like you. You ain't ready to come up against white supremacy, but you will come up against your fellow brother. And that's how you know blacks and Hispanics are family. Because of the hatred that we got for each other. You understand, y'all done?
Hey, what's so heavy about what you're saying, sir, is this fact, like this. Like we stay in Chicago, right? And Chicago is proclaimed to be in one of the most segregated cities, you know what I'm saying, in the US. You know what I'm saying? One of the most segregated cities. But when you go into a black neighborhood or a Hispanic neighborhood, only thing you see is blacks and Hispanics in those neighborhoods.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying? Just, you know, going back to what you're saying. And the hatred comes from just like the hatred in the households. You know what I'm saying? You hate who's closest to you.
That's it.
It's like I think it was Nina Simone or somebody that was speaking, and she was talking about, you know what I'm saying, how you know, the black man goes to his company or wherever he works, and he's dealing with all the oppression there, and he puts on a good face for that.
Right.
But when he come home, you know what I'm saying, he abuses that woman in that household.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying? And that's the same thing we do as black and Hispanics in our communities. Is we abuse the people that's closest to us.
That's it.
The people that's going through what we going through.
That's it. The people who can't defend themselves. You know what I'm saying? Which is that's a punk move. You know what I'm saying? But now, you know what I'm saying, because the truth is on the set and Commander Jenny Hanna been holding this thing down, you know what I'm saying, under the leadership and tutelage of a black man named Jesus Christ. You know what I'm saying? The whole coolest thing about Christ was the knowledge, you know what I'm saying, and the wisdom that he had. And as you're going to find out in this day and time, that would make a man. Right. You know what I'm saying? Every man got muscles, you know what I'm saying? Brothers is big and strong and all that, and you got big guns. All them things is cool to have. They need it, you know what I'm saying, you know, for their purpose. But the thing that's going to help you in this day and time is the wisdom and the knowledge of the truth. That's right. You see what I'm saying? This is what's gonna help brothers get their mind together. And this is what you got to get together, black and Hispanic man. You got to come back to who you were created to be. You wasn't created to be an American. You know what I'm saying? We didn't been an American for 400 years, you know what I'm saying? And look how destroyed we are. Being an American make us have our young sons going to the prisons, you know what I'm saying, like a faucet of water, like a conveyor belt. You know how you work in a factory and that conveyor belt study moving? That's how it is with black and brown, the black and brown youth. And who's stopping the conveyor belt? You think, you know what I'm saying, at some point somebody would go and turn the conveyor belt off, but no, not in this place here. You know what I'm saying? Black and brown blood, that is what feed this place here. It's just like a leech or a vampire out. The vampire and the leech can't live unless they suck your blood. And America been sucking black and Hispanic blood for far too long. That's right. For far too long, you've been doing it. But guess what? Now the truth is here. And so now that's going to stop. So I just want to say that.
Hey, Common Khan, and what you and Captain Cotters are bringing out, and obviously y'all not so heavy because we keep forgetting what real history looks like in this country. You know what I'm saying? We just suffered side by side with Hispanics and natives going through the exact same torments, the exact same torture, fought the exact same enemy. Our people must forget COINTELPRO was started specifically and only originally to break up the Black, Hispanic, and Native American movements back in the day.
That's a fact.
You know what I mean? It started with the Native Americans. Then it hit the Hispanics. Then it hit us last.
Right.
You know what I mean? But they were after a specific people with COINTELPRO. Look at the black. Everybody think about the Black Panthers, where the Brown Berets was right next to them.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And then, like you said, with this African thing, let's get a little bit of history Black people forget about.
Come on.
When they stopped apartheid in South Africa, you know who really helped stop apartheid in South Africa? The Negroes in America.
Right.
We protested against apartheid stronger than we protested against our own oppressors.
Bringing out that's
you know what I mean,
brother. Right. Hand like brother, what you saying so goddamn heavy. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna let you pick it back up, but I just got to you know what I'm saying? I just got to intercept right quick like Deion Sanders and go back for the touchdown. No, let me stop. What you saying so heavy? We could step up for a plight for some South Africans who ain't never considered your plight. South Africans ain't never spoke about the American apartheid. But just like you Negroes, because of your ignorance and not knowing who you are, you're gonna worry about the plight of some people 10,000 miles away from you.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? But then when it comes to stepping up for the so-called Hispanics who've been suffering here in America with you forever, that you got a problem with.
Right.
We'll let him finish. Then
Real quick,
go ahead.
Add
Go
to
ahead,
his point.
please.
Slave cap, not only just South American, South African.
Yeah.
We had niggas that went and fought in the Ukrainian war.
Right.
To
Come
help
on,
the,
man.
To help the
Right.
Ukrainians.
Help the
Come on, man.
Come on, sir.
Go ahead,
It's
man.
like it look with the apartheid things. Cap, I remember being a teenager seeing free Nelson Mandela everywhere. Black people with free Mandela. Stop apartheid. Protests everywhere. Big gigantic movements. All this, and then when apartheid stopped, we celebrated like we accomplished something.
Right.
They freed Mandela. He became president of South Africa and all that. And in his first speech, he looked at the black people in America and said, "We cannot do anything to help you. You must solve your own problems.
Right.
I gotta focus on my people in my country. I can't do nothing for you in America." And we sat there and took that on the chin, like he didn't say the crap, and still be Mandela's so great. Mandela,
I remember.
this.
Listen. You know how I remember, because I remember niggas wearing Nelson Mandela t-shirts. Nigga, what the hell you doing wearing a t-shirt with Nelson Mandela on that joint? Zebras and lions all on the back. You better stop this, man. A rubber one.
Hey, Sluggy, I just want to go over a comment, if I may.
Please.
That a brother put in the chat. And the only
Miss
reason I
Troll.
want to bring it out is because we are going over the blacks and Hispanics, uniting.
No doubt.
I'm gonna read a couple of them that he said because they kind of quick. So it's the brother named Chosen 1619. He says Latinos pushed us out of our black neighborhoods too. Where's the unity? This is another one he put. This is a lie. They never made clothes out of Latinos. He also said they never had breeding farms for Latinos. He also said they never raped hundreds and thousands of black men and women.
Latino.
Of the Latino. So basically, of course, we know where his stance is, but this is a black man that's saying these things.
Kadazai, you want to take it?
I think he's extremely ignorant to history. You know what I'm saying? Because what you confusing is that so let's say they didn't do it to the Latinos. This is what you don't understand. Go look up who the Aztecs were.
Right.
Go look up who the Tainos are. Go look up who the Incas are. Go look up who the Mayans are. Today, those people are calling themselves Latinos.
Right.
So when they came and destroyed the Aztec and Mayan empires and raped their women and enslaved them, you know what I'm saying? Unalived them by countless numbers. You understand? Put them on slave ships as well, sent them back to Sevilla, Spain, so on and so forth. Listen, Mexicans was picking cotton in America before Judah was.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? Like the Indians of this land were called Negro de la Tierra, which is the Negroes of the land. This is what the natives were called. So you turning around, you're thinking of conquistadors. You're thinking of the oppressors. A Latino, you understand, who descends from any of the empires that I just named, with the last name Cortez, is no different than a black man with the last name Johnson.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? You're just completely ignorant to that history, being inside of America with Judah being the focal point. And that's kind of like what this article that we got is going to talk about, how all this history's been just swept under the rug and you don't understand any of it.
Let's get into the article. One thing I want to say is, as far as Latinos pushing us out the community, what laws do Latinos control, as far as real estate, to be able to redline, you know what I'm saying, or to be able to do any of that? Like, what the hell are you talking about, brother? You know what I'm saying? White people is what they control, what neighborhoods black and Latinos live in. Latinos don't have no power to push black people out of a neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? Like, if the brother is saying, you know what I'm saying, you just a little bit ill-informed about what you're saying. You know what I'm saying? You got to deep dive into history, and you will easily see that everything that black people endured during slavery, Latinos endured it as well. You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of black people, like Cap was just saying, you get caught up in your ignorance by trying to combine Spaniards. You know what I'm saying? Spaniards are white peoples. You know what I'm saying? White people basically they split up the 12 tribes. You had the English white people that conquered us, so-called Negroes. The conquistadors and the Portuguese, which are white people as well, you know what I'm saying? They conquered, you know what I'm saying, the Hispanic tribes. Then you had the French, they were, the Haitians, they were conquered by the French. You know what I'm saying? That's another group of white people. So you dealing with the French, the English, and the Spaniards and the Portuguese that conquered, you know what I'm saying, basically the whole Americas.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? But the white Spaniards, they are not the same as the Hispanic people. There's a lot of our people get caught up in that, you know what I'm saying? Or you get caught up in the colorism, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
When the 12 tribes, you know what I'm saying, are brown, black and brown, you know what I'm saying? That means very dark all the way to light.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? So you just got to get a little bit more educated, and stupid things like that wouldn't come out your mouth. You know what I'm saying? We got to get to this joint here. Go ahead, cut us off.
No sweat. So one of the things, you know what I'm saying, so there's an image that's being depicted where it says 2 youths, one stripped of all his clothes, the other badly beaten, fell victim to raging bands of policemen who scoured the streets of Los Angeles on June 7th, 1943. As LA observes the 80th anniversary of the unrest, which largely unfolded from June 3rd to June 8th, 1943, much will be said about how wartime xenophobia and bigotry, how thousands of white servicemen and civilians assaulted anyone who wore the flamboyant zoot suits. So there was a zoot suit riot. Matter of fact, so this way that they could understand. Could you put a Google search in, throw a zoot suit up on the screen? So what a lot of people don't know, man, is that there was a large cultural diffusion between the Mexican and black community inside of LA. You know what I mean? Like you know, you go back and you watch like Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg and the Chronic album, and you see them in lowriders. Judah didn't start lowrider culture inside of America. Issachar did. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right.
And there's no one in the world who looks at that as some form of, you know, cultural misappropriation.
Right.
In the same capacity, Latinos got zoot suits from Judah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like there was a direct exchange that was going on, and that's why what you're going to see here is that this was a time when, you know, blacks and so-called blacks and so-called Mexicans banded together during these riots because we were all attacked together.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And now it says less known is the story told in the Bass mural. So like, you know what I'm saying, is the mural that they were talking about on June 10th, 1943, the Eagles front page headline screamed, "Zoot riot jolts Watts." Next to it showed a picture of a black man with a bloodied lip. Dispatches from across the city painted an ugliness of this week's mayhem. In an open letter, Mayor Fletcher Bowron base describes the riots a white heart of lynch fury and blamed the city's daily's paper for kindling the hatred over the previous year. Said, "Nothing in my experience," she wrote, "has been so vicious, deliberate, or disruptive as the campaign of our city's metropolitan papers against Mexican Americans." So what you start to see is like there's always been propaganda of hate, you know what I'm saying, spread not only in the media amongst, you know what I'm saying, the tribe of Judah, but as well as the tribe of Issachar.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And for this, you know what I'm saying, about week period from like the 3rd to the 10th, it was nothing but white people assaulting black and brown. Anybody they saw wearing a zoot suit.
Yeah,
anybody who saw us, it's no different than what was the brother's name? Jordan Davis, who got on the live for listening to hip hop.
Yeah, kind of.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because everybody knows hip hop is black music. Y'all could talk about Eminem being a rap god all you want. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like there's not a person alive who doesn't know that he's a guest in hip hop.
Right.
Because, you know what I'm saying? Like it's in the same capacity. These zoot suits were just, you know, something niggas and spics wore. It was our cultural attire.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So now it says at this time, though, you know what I'm saying, the pastors, the neighborhood, you know what I'm saying, everybody band together, and they said, because we in the Negro community are more unified. Now, what's interesting is present day, you know what I'm saying, they try to say that what Mexicans and Latinos are more unified than so-called African Americans, right? But at this time, you know what I'm saying, in 1943, it said because we in the Negro community are more unified and have greater political power, it read, we must lead and demand full police protection of the Mexican communities in Los Angeles. We must say to our great United Nation neighbors, Mexico, saludos amigos, and by heaven, we must mean it. You know what I'm saying? And what's interesting is, you know what I'm saying, like all the roles that have switched.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like 1943, they're saying that, you know what I'm saying, the African American community was more unified, you know what I'm saying, than the so-called Mexican community. That could only be, you know what I'm saying, because of segregation.
That's it.
That could only be because this is 30 years before integration. Because this is what happens when you're actually separated from your oppressor.
Damn right.
Issachar wasn't oppressing this community.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The so-called white man was.
That's right.
And it's why everything's been so disenfranchised. And like everything, we've all experienced very similar or the same pain inside of America, even going down to like right now, the current argument against Mexicans is what? They took our jobs.
Right.
They were saying the same thing about Negroes after Reconstruction. You know what I'm saying? This is why unions were started. Unions were started to keep Black and Hispanics out, primarily Judah initially coming out of slavery, because all the skilled laborers, you understand, was ex-slaves now.
Right.
And then you could pay them less than what you could pay a white man.
Right.
Well, ain't that what the hell happens now? You know what I'm saying? Where you could pay a so-called Mexican less money than what you pay a white man born inside of America or a citizen.
Right.
And now you mad at the Mexicans talking about taking a job that you ain't want in the first place for money you wouldn't accept.
Right, exactly.
Damn right.
So what the hell are we talking about? We got a zoot suit on the screen.
It's like, sir, if I could,
please.
It's a movie that if you all want to check it out, it's American Me. That's
what's up, Cap?
That's
hey man, if I could real quick, Captain DeBar Marv of Milwaukee just walked in, get his brother's hand.
What's going on, man?
Officer Lacombe, they in the building. Y'all know Milwaukee right up the street.
Yes, sir.
Hop, skip, and jump. Go ahead, my yard.
But it's like, so there's an old school, you know, in the 90s, they made a lot of gangster movies. You know what I'm saying? 80s and 90s. It's a movie called American Me. You know what I mean? That's an old school Hispanic gangster movie. You know what I mean? Real good, excellent movie.
Right.
But it starts off showing the Zoot Suit riots. It starts off depicting how the sailors came off the boat. A dude that is one of the bigger gangsters and killers later on in the movie.
Yeah.
He's at a dance with his girl.
Right.
And it's just a Hispanic dance, you know what I mean? And they having fun, they chilling. Some soldiers come in, start fighting. Next thing you know, they start just beating everybody. Bunch of more soldiers came in, and one of them essayed his girl. And she ended up getting pregnant and giving birth to a character later on that was half white, half Mexican, but he ended up being a big traitor. You know what I mean? Depicted himself as being a Hispanic through the whole movie, but he was the result of a sexual assault during the Zoot Suit riots. And they used to do that. That was a constant thing throughout history. They would come off those boats, like Captain Cartazar said.
Yeah.
They blame our Hispanic brothers and sisters for the riot, but it was really the white soldiers and the white sailors that were coming into the Latino community and committing atrocities.
That's happening, you know what I'm saying? So, Captain Carter, what's the significance of the Zoot Suits?
So as far as what it was is that this was a style that, you know what I'm saying, completely separated and distinguished, you know what I'm saying, Blacks and Latinos from white people, you know what I'm saying, inside of these certain scenes, you know what I'm saying, coming around the time. So as a result, you know what I'm saying, you know, think about it like, you know what I'm saying, how white people marginalize Black people for sagging.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then picture them wanting to run around and, you know what I'm saying, like whoop everybody's ass that they see sagging, or anybody wearing Jordans, or something that's just, you know what I'm saying, culturally significant of the time.
No doubt.
Well, you know what I'm saying? Well, at this time, you know what I'm saying, like, you know, post 20s, and you know what I'm saying, like them going into, like, you know what I'm saying, broader like outside of jazz and swing areas and stuff like that in the nightlife. This was the fashion. You know what I'm saying? This was the direct fashion that was going on. You know what I'm saying? So this was now, you know what I'm saying, just a way of, you know what I'm saying, us targeting people that we hate and ways to identify them.
Yeah, you understand? Y'all done?
Yeah, if I could, I just wanted to because I want to get back to what the brother was asking. So the brother was asking about, you know what I'm saying, like how he feels like Hispanics is pushing brothers out of the community. But essentially what's happening is that brothers are, you know what I'm saying, the Hispanic brothers are coming together in brotherhood. And back in the day, like you said that the African so-called African American, you know what I'm saying, community was more united than what the Hispanic was at the time. You know what I'm saying? So what, as we see now today, you know what I'm saying, actually the opposite, you know what I'm saying, the flip. You know what I'm saying? That's the reason why Hispanics can get more real estate and different things like that, because they join together in brotherhood. And that's what the brother have an issue with. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just trying to see, you know what I'm saying, like, do you see the parallels to what, you know what I'm saying, what could have been concocted to make this switch, and is this a ploy that our oppressor is using to separate, you know what I'm saying, the two factions?
So I think that, you know what I'm saying, like, they want all of our, like, okay, they want the history, you know what I'm saying, of any unity completely erased.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because the last thing that they want is us uniting.
That's
You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's like, just think about, you know what I'm saying, like, why they wanted integration.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because it's like one of the main things that I learned from Command Jenny Hanna, which blows my mind when I talk to people, is we could literally fix our people in one generation.
That's kind of macabre.
You know what I mean? And it's like, you've seen it in Exodus. You know what I'm saying? Like, by the time we left Egypt, and by the time, you know what I'm saying, you get to Joshua, like, Israel was so disciplined to the point where he had them, you know what I'm saying, be quiet for a damn week before them walls fell in Jericho. Right? Well, you take a look at, you know what I'm saying, what one of the, you know, main discussions always is Black Wall Street. And you look at Black Wall Street being at its peak in 1920. Well, that's about 45, 50 years removed from chattel slavery. So it's like, you're talking about, in a 50-year period, you know what I'm saying, so-called African Americans were able to, you know what I'm saying, build the city that was competing with white wealth.
During the depression period. You understand, when the white people was struck, the country was, depression is, white people's economy is struggling. While their economy is struggling, we're thriving. We had a community, not just the Tulsa, Oklahoma, that was just one. But we talking about Black communities all across this country that was systematically destroyed by white people because of the success that Black people were having. And this is the reason why, you know what I'm saying, this is the reason why integration even take place. Now, once again, integration is an illusion. You understand? Like, it's really about taking away Black nationalism and Hispanic nationalism. Nationalism is when you prefer your people. First, you all about your people, but America can't have you to where you a Black nationalist or Hispanic nationalist. They got to break you of that. You know, when they break you of that, now you will forever be a slave, because you feel as though that coming one with white America is the way. When you come into these major cities, we ain't really integrated. Majority of the Black kids, they go to all Black schools, but their mind is integrated, meaning they believe that when a white man fed you integration, because he the one that fed it to you, he used Black leaders to push it, right? But when he fed it to you, it's really him telling you, I'm gonna make you a part of America. You see what I'm saying? He made Black people feel like in their mind that we was gonna get a piece of the pie. You see what I'm saying? We've been here for 400 years. White men say, man, integration, we're gonna integrate this. We're gonna let y'all drink from the water fountains now. We're gonna let y'all use the toilet. And in Black people's mind, this was the civil rights movement was revolutionary, because we able to drink from the water fountain and use the same toilet as white people. And we felt accomplished behind that. You see what I'm saying? Meanwhile, a few years later, after the damn civil rights bill, 1964 and 1967, listen to me good, you had 150 race riots across America. 150. 3 years later. So that go to tell you that this integration it always has been an illusion. You understand? Like, you got to prefer your people first. That's what you need right there. Trying to integrate, brother, that ain't gonna work. And trying to make Hispanics, you know what I'm saying, your enemy, when we have a bigger common enemy, is the wrong move. You know what I'm saying? You Negroes is acting like white people accept us but hate Hispanics. You know what I'm saying? When he hate us both. You understand? I'm gonna pull a scripture, you know what I'm saying, later on, not right now, to further prove my point. You see what I'm saying?
Damn right.
So that's it. Where we at, Katazar?
I guess so back on topic what you saying and with your question, it's like we're stronger when we're left alone.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like they need to eradicate like any notion of us being able to come together, or you know what I'm saying, like us being allied as a benefit to them. And then even when it came down to, so this is what I wanted to read verbatim, when it says the Zoot Suit originated in late 1930s in African American communities in Harlem, and quickly became a symbol of rebellion and cultural identity, particularly among Black and Mexican men. It was characterized by its distinctive silhouette, a loose-fitting jacket with padded shoulders, high-waisted, wide leg trousers that tapered at the ankles, and often wide-brimmed hat. The suit was a bold fashion statement that defied wartime fabric restrictions and was associated with jazz culture and a sense of style and confidence. And all throughout this, like I said, it's like Zoot Suit became a powerful symbol for young Black men and Mexican men, representing a sense of pride and individuality and rejection of old ways and more conservative styles, right? And it's like this is, like I said, our culture has always diffused with each other.
Does it?
You know what I'm saying? And as time goes on, like, so one of the things that I also wanted to read tied into this was when it says that it says the leaders of the Black community really seemed to understand that they weren't just safe just because they were the primary target. And it says among the
that's heavy. Like, we gotta give it up. You understand? Because I mean, damn, you know, this is why they tell you don't forget history, because you're bound to repeat it.
That's right, sir.
Can you say that part you just said again?
So it says the leaders of the Black community really seemed to understand that they weren't safe just because they weren't the primary target.
That's so much to now. You know what I'm saying? Is to where they basically saying that if we don't step up and help these Hispanic brothers, they coming after us next. And what you're gonna find out in this story, because they helped the Hispanics, the oppression, the abuse that the Hispanic brothers was receiving stopped because of the Black community joining the brown community to help in their plight, which is something that's so necessary now. And one thing about so-called Negroes, we so embedded in America, we got so much political power here, financial power here, man, that if we turned and helped the Hispanic, do you know that we would stop them brothers and sisters from being deported? If we just stepped up in the game. And here's the thing, it's something that the Lord required. You know what I'm saying? The reason why we so confused about whether we should help them or not is because of poor leadership.
Right.
Because these cats in the Christian church, they don't know, they ain't trying to point Black people in no direction to help anybody, but they will point you in the direction to help their belly. You see what I'm saying? Which is all they is concerned about. Black leadership has to be removed.
Damn right.
Right.
Hispanic leadership has to be removed.
Damn right.
Brothers and brothers who sincerely love the people, they have to be put in place. Last I checked, only brothers that sincerely love their people, I mean down to the bone, is the brothers in the ISUBK. You know what I'm saying? Under Commander General Yohana. Who sincerely, how do you know we sincerely love Blacks and Hispanics? Because we doing the work.
Right.
First and foremost, we teaching them who in the hell they are. Because it's 2025 and they not only do they not know if you don't know your identity, how would you know that Black people are your cousins, or they come from the same family line that you do? Go have them, you know what I'm saying, measure the skull of Blacks and Hispanics. You're gonna find out we got the same skulls. Your skull is not the same as them Africans. Got a whole different skull shape than what you have. While you sitting there talking about these is your people, you don't know who your people are. You had to, what do you know? Stop talking like you a scholar. Before you make yourself a scholar, why don't you say, man, let me examine what these Israelite brothers is talking about.
Right.
Let me research. Point me in the direction of a book before you get to saying, oh, the Hispanics ain't our people. They ain't never helped our struggle. We finna pull out a ton of times where we helped each other struggle. This is a time now that you got to be quiet.
That's right.
Scripture say when you ought to be teachers, you better help me with that one. When you ought to be teachers, you got to learn again. I'm paraphrasing. You see what I'm saying? It's time that you learn and stop acting like you ready to teach. You understand? Because we in a very dangerous time. White supremacy is ready to come down on blacks and Hispanics.
That's right.
Like some you could not believe. I just want to say that point.
Congress, if I may, what you're saying is so heavy. It's
Please.
so evil. Like the thing about us joining into white society is now, no matter what, whenever he throws something on the social media or on the airwaves about let's go pray for Palestine, let's go pray for Ukraine, let's go pray for all these other nations. We jump at the forefront of that. Like IG said, we went and jumped and fought in the Ukraine, go fight in the Ukrainian war over there because we joined America. We're gonna go support whatever America says we should support.
Right.
And because we love America so much, and they victimize our Hispanic and Native Indian brothers so much, that's the first ones we want to go attack. And say we don't know nothing about why they're being victimized or vilified or whatever the case may be. But as long as it's on social media, that's how we got to think. And that's the whole problem, is that we so focus on believing what we see.
That's it.
Instead of knowing what we actually feel.
That's it. That's it. Get a brother a hand. Come on, Captain Obama.
Yeah, the water.
Please.
Shoot, I know we was talking about Black Wall Street. And I got a chance to visit Black Wall Street. And when I went into an establishment that still had the original foundations, some of the original bricks that was left from when it was burnt, it's the chicken spot, right? In the chicken spot, they got a big mural of the people who were running Black Wall Street, some of the founders and stuff like that, and the families.
Yeah.
And I got a rumor one about to show the picture up on the screen. You see blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians together.
Come on now.
This is Black Wall Street.
Damn. Come on.
That's
now.
Black Wall Street right there.
Come on.
You see the Hispanic brother right there. You see the Native Indian right there, and you see the Negro right there.
Right.
That's how they were there.
That's another thing they don't bring out. They don't tell you how important and essential it was. Native American Indians was a part of Black Wall Street. They don't never bring that out. Once again, we talking about blacks and Hispanics, but let us not forget our Native Indian brothers as well, who on the reservations. They are not going to be forgotten. Now, Most High don't, what I'm saying, is requires that they not be forgotten. You know what I'm saying? So big up to our brothers and sisters on the reservations as well. You know what I'm saying? Once again, you brothers in the ISUBK, you know what I'm saying? You brothers, you know what I'm saying, doing the Hebrew Academy graduation, you got that jacket. Well, guess what? Now you're in the game. You get poured on that, get that oil poured on your head. Now, like Christ said, it's important for you to take your penny and go put some work in. You know what I'm saying? And go get them Native Indians brothers off the reservations. Go get them Hispanic brothers, you know what I'm saying, for they can understand who they are and that we supposed to come together and be the one body of Christ. You see what I'm saying? So where we at? Oh, I'm sorry, IG. Go ahead.
Just real quick,
please.
Yeah, if I may, man, there's so many context clues pointing towards the fact that blacks and Hispanics are brothers is ridiculous.
That's it.
I mean, down to like it's in our spirit, in our DNA, down
That's
to
it.
how we walk, how we talk, our influence on the world.
That's it.
The music, everything. I mean,
right.
in Japan, you got Japanese people making their hair into afros.
Right.
You got Japanese people wearing like the lowrider culture.
That's it.
I mean, trying to be Hispanic or black. Nowhere else on the world is that happening. Nobody's trying to be Russian. Nobody's trying to be Hawaiian.
Right.
Heathens are trying to be Mexicans.
That's right.
Heathens
That's
are
right.
trying to be black.
Right.
And we got so many similarities like that.
Yeah.
And then the cherry on top is the history.
Come on,
the
now.
archaeology.
Come on, Listen, they wanna be like us. They just don't want to be us.
Right.
You understand? Like
Right.
it's cute to put on the rap gear and dress like Allen Iverson and braids and all that. But that's where it stops. You know what I'm saying? Because they be like, well, we want to be like y'all, but we don't want to be y'all. Meaning they don't want to suffer under white supremacy like we suffer under white supremacy. So it's cool to dress like us and talk like us, but they don't want to be us. And that's something we got to recognize. Cap, I want to get you back on the set.
No sweat, Cutter. I just want to get a little bit more of this article before we get on to the next section. But it's basically, it talks about how that this unity, however, is almost completely ignored in popular memory of Zoot Suit riots. And it's not only, you know what I'm saying, by FBAs, but also it says it's non-existent in lowrider cruises of the galas, street festivals, social media posts. They portray the violence as modern day, strictly against Mexican Americans. And it says if there's mention of the black, it says there's no mention of the black men who originated the Zoot Suits and also suffered and fought back during the riots. It's merely like a shout out. And you know what I'm saying. And as time goes on, what you start to see is so like this is just so you guys could get like an actual you know what I'm saying portrayal. So it says that doom.
Yeah, this is heavy.
It says Mexican Americans were overwhelmingly the victims of the Zoot Suit riot, but the mobs went after black men as well. The NAACP field office logged dozens of incidents. Joseph Nelson, 16, got dragged out of a car on 5th and Main Street and had his pants cut. Lewis Jackson, 23, a shipyard worker, had his eye gouged. And after being jumped at 3rd Street and Santa Fe Avenue, 2 black teenagers wearing zoot suits had to seek refuge at the Pasadena police station. So it starts to just show that, like, this is just another area in which, you know what I'm saying, like, both of us actually suffered at the hands of white people.
That's it.
And then, you know what I'm saying, and how we came together at that time in order to protect each other. And this isn't just, you know what I'm saying, I advise anybody to go and check that out, but it's been a lot of things like that, you know what I'm saying, which inspired each other. Like, so like the next article that I wanted to get into was about, it says a Latino young lord remembers the Black Panther Party leader, Fred Hampton. He united the oppressed.
Come on.
And for those of you who don't know, the Young Lords was, you know what I'm saying, like a Puerto Rican version of the Black Panthers that actually originated out here inside of Chicago. So the Puerto Rican diaspora, a lot of Puerto Ricans, you know what I'm saying, we know live in New York, live in Florida, but also came over to Chicago. So it actually originated in Chicago and then came over to Spanish Harlem inside of New York. So it says we were all living in shoddy houses. We were not receiving education. We all were getting our asses kicked by the police, says Felipe Luciano. Why shouldn't we get together?
Right.
And it says the movie Judas and the Black Messiah, which opens Friday. So which this is something to me that was even more disgusting. That when you go and watch that movie, you know, that movie's about Fred Hampton.
Right.
It's played by African.
Yeah, Khan.
You know what I'm saying? Like, where's the FBA's being mad that, you know what I'm saying, somebody who wasn't from Ados, you know what I'm saying, is and has no relation, you know what I'm saying, is playing Fred Hampton.
But listen, what's so heavy about that is that, you know what I'm saying, Africans, whenever they get an African, a so-called Negro, to go play some prominent African, man, them Africans pitch a fit. You know what I'm saying? Because they know that so-called Negroes, that you ain't them.
Right.
And they want somebody of their stock to play Africans, you know what I'm saying? But some African, you know what I'm saying, which they've been doing the past 10, 20 years, when it comes to our struggle, they go get some African to play us in the movie. You know what I'm saying? And you sitting there looking at the movie like, come on, man. This ain't no sister. You know, I remember watching some slave movie, you know what I'm saying, Harriet Tubman. They got a set damn African playing the role. It ain't the same. You know what I'm saying? You looking at the movie like, this ain't no sister.
Right.
I don't know about y'all. I know the difference between an African and a black woman. You see what I'm saying? And I'm offended when an African come play the role of us, because Africans, they ain't been through our struggle.
Right.
They come to America and benefit off our struggle.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? But they don't, you know what I'm saying? They don't know our struggle. You see what I'm saying? They the ones that sold us into the struggle. As a matter of, dude, let's not forget that. They telling you your own people sold you in the slavery. Africans ain't our people, man. Get that through your goddamn head. They came together, struck a deal with white people and said, get these Israelites off of our land. And they got them off of the land. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, go ahead, my
Hey, Captain, last time I checked, sir, anytime I see a video of police violence, you know what I'm saying, I have yet to see a video of an African getting unarmed, innocent African.
You never hear about it.
Ever.
What people do you constantly hear getting beat up by the police? What people?
Blacks and Hispanics, sir.
Blacks and Hispanics.
That's it.
Black and brown people.
Black and brown.
And we still, and listen, we understand, a lot of you Negroes getting degrees for mathematics all the time. Ain't you? Nigga get a degree for mathematics. First thing you do, slap it up on the wall. Look what the white man gave you. You know what I'm saying? Which is cool. You know what I'm saying? But you ain't put the mathematics together yet to say maybe Hispanics is our people. They going through the prisons is filled with who they tell you the prisons filled with? Blacks and Hispanics.
That's it.
You understand? Who get police brutality to happen to them? Blacks and Hispanics. And Hispanics, they look like us. Last time I checked, that's what you Negroes better pick up on. They are us. You know what I'm saying? So they trying to make it. They trying to. The white man is so strategic in what he do. He can't come at the black and Hispanics, you know what I'm saying, as far as the deportation at the same time.
Right.
He want to make it seem like it's a separation. You see what I'm saying? But what you gonna see, he gonna slip right to you Negroes.
Yeah,
and a lot of you Negroes that's here in America, you gonna be deported too. You know what I'm saying? You gonna be trying to pull out an ID talking about, man, I'm a FDA. You know what I'm saying? Trying to pull out some IDs and show him, hold on, man, I'm an American citizen. White man gonna say, don't worry about nothing. Get in that truck there, and you is a Hispanic now.
Right.
Okay, because last time I checked, you look at them Dominican, some of them Dominican brothers, Sammy Sosa, and some of them Dominican baseball players. I used to watch, I grew up watching baseball, and I'm looking at these cats speak Spanish, but I'm noticing they got the same swag we got. They walk like we. I'm like, damn, I know they from another country, but they look like us, and they act like us, and I couldn't put two and two together. You know what I'm saying? 2 and 2 got put together the minute that I came into the truth.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I say, oh, well, this all makes sense.
That's right, sir.
Come on, the bar, mom.
So 2 things.
Please.
Man, I'll be at my slave or whatnot. It's a lot of I work on the south side of stuff now in Milwaukee, right? And I'm talking to this cat. He Mexican and black, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's another thing, right? He Mexican and black. His father black, actually, his mother Mexican, but the niggas speak hella Spanish, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm asking him, I'm like, man, I'm like, yo, how long you think it'll take me to learn Spanish? He's like, man, you go on Duolingo and learn Spanish. I'm like, nah, I don't want that Spanish. He said, I know what you want. I said, what? He said, you want that nigga Spanish. I said, yeah, I want that nigga Spanish. Because there's a way that they speak Spanish and it's nigga Spanish. You know what I'm saying? It ain't Spaniard Spanish or that proper, like, we speak English.
Yeah.
We don't speak English.
It's just,
you know
like,
what I'm saying?
it's just like Ebonics, our black people.
Right.
And the reason why, because we are 2 totally different people. The Hispanics, they you know what I'm saying? The Spanish gonna sound different from white people's Spanish because we 2 different people. And you can't take 2. The Lord ain't create different races to be smashed together.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Somebody's culture gonna suffer.
That's right.
And guess who culture is suffering? Ours.
That's right.
Like this brother bringing out a story about white people, you know what I'm saying, riding against blacks and Hispanics for wearing zoot suits.
Right.
We talking about clothing. You see what I'm saying? Like this, how much they hate it. Like y'all don't understand these people, man. It's in their DNA to hate you.
Right.
They don't need a reason to hate you. It's in their DNA. So whatever you do is just gonna, you know what I'm saying? They're not gonna like.
Yeah,
the way you walk, they don't like the way you sit down. You know what I'm saying? You comb your hair because it ain't you ain't them.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? It's like Allen Iverson. He playing in the NBA. One rookie of the year, all they could talk about is how he dressed.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And what jury he wears.
And it's
corn this. It's corn re-wear braids. They just hate us, and you can't exist in a country where you being hated.
That's right.
You understand? You know what I'm saying? So seeing that you can't exist here, this is why you need soldiers to take you out of the oppression. Because soldiers, you know what I'm saying, they ain't gonna stand for they people being oppressed. That's why it's wars going on. Because it's certain men that say, well, I don't want to be oppressed by America like black people and Hispanics are. So therefore, I'm gonna make nuclear bombs to fight these people as so I need be.
Right.
And that's why black and Hispanic men, you got to step up in the same manner. You got to go to war. What's your war? It definitely ain't joining the white man's military. Your war is coming up against these religions that have destroyed your people and that making your people, you know what I'm saying, basically subservient to white people forever. That's what religion is. Whether you're a Roman Catholic or Christian, it's just saying we bound down to white people. We're going to follow white Jesus until the wheel fall off. And since you've done that, now you're getting deported because of the God you serve. If you turn to the nigga God, the deportation going to stop.
Damn right.
You understand? Us getting beat down by the cops, that's going to stop.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because these white people going to look at you and say, they serving their God. They about their people. We can't just do to them whatever the hell we want, because every time we do something to them, they God responds.
That's right.
That's what you don't understand. The nigga God is ready to respond to what's happening to black and Hispanics, but he won't respond because you won't serve him.
Right.
You running up in these churches, you know what I'm saying, that your people was forced to become Catholics. Your people was forced to become Christian. Pick up a book, nigga, and read and find out how black people got into these goddamn religions. How Hispanic got into their religions.
That's right.
How did they get into religions? It wasn't because of love and peace.
white people said, nigga, you gonna follow what I tell you to follow, or I'm gonna crack your goddamn head open, and that's gonna be that. Or you gonna get hung and burned until finally we submitted and we said we gonna follow white Jesus. But no more of that. Now we got men, you know what I'm saying, that's telling you this is the God that we supposed to serve.
Yeah, right.
DA?
Yeah, come. So just my last little point.
Please.
That was heavy what you said, because being in that family with being in the Ross family, you know what I'm saying, with Harriet Tubman, a descendant of Harriet Tubman, right? Because of that movie where they had the African playing Harriet, you know, I go to my family now. You know, we straight Harriet Tubman family, all that, the Ross family. I go to them, and I go to them, and I'm like, yo, y'all not mad that an African played on Harriet? They like, man, God love everybody, man, and you know, we came from Africa, so I'm like, man, imagine that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying that to say, like what you were just saying with how we done stuck our head so far up the white man's ass, is damn near like we fighting two fronts. We fighting the white man and his oppression, and we fighting black men being racist, Hispanic men being racist against their own people. You see what I'm saying? It's damn near like, damn, we fighting a losing fight. But of course, we know we gonna win this one based on what was written. But you know, that's a heavy point, because I'm fighting with my own family. I'm talking about my family ain't fucking with me right now. Excuse my French. Because of how I'm going hard on certain situations based off of Harriet Tubman and what she would have said, what she would have done, how she would have moved, and how she would have looked at things that they doing today.
See what I'm saying? Give it up for the brother. Y'all done? Come on with it. And then we're gonna turn the mic back over to Katazak. Go ahead.
Yeah, real quick, sir. I just wanted to pinpoint the fact that, you know, saying that our leadership and the black and the brown community, you know, saying is failing our people, you know, saying by taking a stance that, you know, saying that we shouldn't be involved in what's going on with each other. You know what I'm saying? Because it's such a cowardice, you know what I'm saying, act. You know what I'm saying? It's like you see a bully, you know what I'm saying, and you satisfied with today you not being the victim of the bully.
That's it.
And then you see somebody else getting terrorized by the bully, and you just happy that for the moment the bully ain't choosing to deal with you. You know what I'm saying? That's such a cowardice thing for our leaders to be telling us, don't get involved in what's going on when he bullying them.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
That's all I wanted to bring.
Man, that's heavy. Give it up. Katazak, come on with it. Let's get it on.
And I'm gonna read a little bit more of this other article, but because somebody grabbed me Isaiah 11 and 12, because somebody else grabbed me Genesis 49 and 8, and it all ties into this. So it says Puerto Rican activist Felipe Luciano remembers another story about Hampton that took place largely off screen, the friendship of two activists that starts in prison and plants the seed for a much wider alliance among blacks, Latinos, and it says members of communities working for civil rights. It says he was the one who got Cha-Cha to move away from gang warfare to organization, Luciano said about Hampton and his friend with Jose Cha-Cha Jimenez, the founding member of the Young Lords Puerto Rican activist group, if anybody didn't know who Cha-Cha was. And it's like, you know, I think that's also, you know, it's like so poetic to the scriptures when it comes down to, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, Judah leading that level of activism even inside of America. And for this purpose, you know what I'm saying? Who got Isaiah?
I got it, sir.
If you could, Baba Kashab.
Khan, this is the book of Isaiah, chapter 11, and verse 12. And he shall set up an ensign for the nations.
So an ensign is like, think of a banner, you know what I'm saying? So this is a banner, you know, somebody plants their flag down for the nations, good?
And shall assemble the outcast of Israel.
You understand? All the different outcasts of Israel, and that's what we've become inside of America. You understand? We are outcasts and have been scattered and need an ensign for all of us to come back to, good?
And gather together the dispersed of Judah,
good,
from the four corners of the earth.
Good.
Verse 13. The envy also of Ephraim shall depart.
You understand? Meaning this is talking about the northern kingdom. Ephraim was the head tribe of the northern kingdom, talking about the envy, meaning that, listen, man, we don't want, you understand, at one time Judites ruling over us.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? In any way, shape, or form. And the answer to why is in the next verse, is in the next sentence, good?
Khan with Khan. and the adversaries of Judah shall be cut off.
Good.
Ephraim shall not envy Judah.
Good.
And Judah shall not vex Ephraim.
You understand? Because of that vexation, like that vexation has to go and that envy has to depart. And that only happens in the truth. That only happens, you understand? Because now it's like you got an Ephraimite telling y'all Most High in Christ. You got an Ephraimite telling y'all right now, I don't mind that my king is black. I don't mind that my king is, and when I say black, I mean so-called African American, a Judite. You understand? Because Christ doesn't vex the other tribes. Like no one tribe is not getting out of captivity.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Just Judah ain't leaving captivity. Just Benjamin ain't leaving captivity. It's Judah, Benjamin, Levi, Manasseh, Simeon, all the way on down to Issachar. We all getting out of this captivity together. And that happens, you understand, when that envy and that vexation departs. You understand? And that vexation has to start by us remembering this history, us coming together in brotherhood and unity. And you understand, recognizing where this, you understand, recognizing where all this comes from. And then this also ties into who got Genesis 49. If you could, Baba Kasha.
Genesis chapter 49 and verse 8. Judah, thou art he whom thy brethren shall praise.
So now, ain't that what happens all the time? I mean, even on a carnal level, ain't everybody want to be like Mike?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Pick one: Tyson, Jordan, Jackson, Game 6, whatever. You know what I'm saying? It is my point, though. You know what I'm saying? You even got Cha-Cha Jimenez over here. You know what I'm saying? And my man Luciano remembering. You know what I'm saying? Fred Hampton being the one that pulled him out of gang life. You know what I'm saying? Being the one that linked with him in prison and then showed him how to organize. Right. So it's like if that's the case, not only is this, you know what I'm saying, fulfilling prophecy on a level, you know what I'm saying, but if that's the case, you know what I'm saying, like, and you're supposed to fulfill that seat. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're supposed to turn around and be a role model for your, but you're not supposed to oppress them.
Come on,
you're not supposed to vex them.
Come on,
you're supposed to do exactly what they did in the 1940s when they said, we got more political power here. This is a marginalized group. This is an ally. We should come together.
Damn right.
You understand?
Right.
And that can only be done in the truth. And that's why Commander Johnny Hanna got all 12 tribes.
Damn right.
You understand? And that's why what y'all are seeing is that this organization is going to be the face, you understand, of liberty for blacks and brown inside of America.
That's it.
Straight up. You gonna say something,
I
Kat?
was gonna say something, man. Listen, me and Katazab been rocking this thing out for a minute. You know what I'm saying? Brother came into the truth, man. We ain't had nothing but brotherhood for each other. I remember Hebrew Academy, us running around the track.
I think about that all the time.
You looking at a so-called Judite and a so-called Ephraimite that's been riding together for over 10 to 11, 12 years in this truth right now. So what the Lord said, you know what I'm saying, was going to come to pass is coming to pass with me and this brother right here. The minute I find out, you know what I'm saying, he was coming to Chicago, I said, man, you got to come, you know what I'm saying, join us on the round table of truth. You got to come do a 12-tribe breakdown a few years ago. Get me all the way right on this joint. You know what I'm saying? So we've been rocking this thing out together because this is what the Lord wants. The Lord don't want division between blacks and Hispanics.
That's right.
And you blacks and Hispanics that choose not to listen to the prophets of the Lord under Commander Johnny Hanna, you're going to pay the price.
That's right.
You're going to pay the price for not listening. We certified up in here in the UPK. Right. The Lord is with this here. You don't try to compare us to the Black Panthers or all these different movements. Oh, it's just that. Y'all look at that's just another. No, this ain't just another movement.
Right.
Movements are things that are inspired by men. The ISUBK is something that is inspired by the Most High. My God, that's totally different. I mean, the Lord is with this right here.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? And whenever the Lord is with something, you can't do nothing with it.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? I remember us running around the track together. I say, Katazai, man, we look like two weed heads, man.
Getting detoxed.
Remember I told you that? Hey, look, all the other brothers, they running around the track like that. I'm told Katazai, man, let's just keep this pace. You going right here. and he ran that track with me. Get me right, Katazai.
And let me tell you something. We a little bit halfway ain't shit, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because there was this one section of bleachers that the generals couldn't see us, and that's where we start walking. And then we get on the other side of them bleachers and pick up like we was running again. But every time we got back around, we got behind them bleachers. We like, let's slow down. Let's chill.
This is a fact. You know what I'm saying?
Like what you saying tonight, man, the information that this brother bringing out and all these brothers bringing out, what you saying, you know what I'm saying, is black and brown unity take place, man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And this is something that's going to turn the tide here in America. This going to be the one thing that what you don't understand is going to help destroy the fabric of this place is blacks and Hispanics coming together. We talking about 40 million black people, 30 million Hispanic people. That's damn near 80 million people with economic power, cultural power, real influence, and us taking our soul out of this place is going to make this place implode. Because this place moves off of us being in a confused state and not knowing who the hell we are. So I just wanted to say that, man. What was going with it? You got something?
I wanted to get two more scriptures, man. I wanted to get Zechariah 12:7, and then I also wanted to get Zechariah, 9:13. And amongst other things, you know what I'm saying, there was a couple of other articles that I sent you, but what I think might be a little bit more beneficial is, brother, could you put the video on where that I sent from YouTube? You know what I'm saying? The one that shows that the Underground Railroad, speaking of Harriet Tubman, also went into Mexico. You know what I'm saying? Where Latinos, you understand, were a part of the Underground Railroad, helping Judah escape the freedom inside of Mexico. Come on, man. You know what I'm saying? So there's some things that we got to talk about here. But who got Zechariah 12?
I got that right here.
Baba Kashar.
You said 12:7, sir?
Please.
The book of Zechariah, chapter 12 and verse 7. The Most High shall save the tents of Judah first, that the glory of the house of David and the glory of the inhabitants of Jerusalem do not magnify themselves against Judah.
You understand? And this is what you got to understand. Like what I love about the Bible is that it's manifold, that it's taught in similitudes, right? And you see that, you understand, by not only Yahushua being raised up out of Jerusalem, you know what I'm saying, and being that ensign to bring all the tribes together, but also fast forward and all the way down to Abba Bivens and in One West.
Right.
And you started to see the houses of Judah enlarged first. You know what I'm saying? And then immediately after, you understand, you now start to see the rest of the tribes coming in together in all their flavors and all their glory. And that's how it was always supposed to be. And that's a message not only to Judah, you understand, to be magnanimous, but also, you understand, for the tribalism in the northern kingdom to end, and for us to realize, like, this ain't just a Judite thing. Right. You understand? This is about all 12 tribes. You understand? And that actually is, I'm gonna tell y'all a funny story, right? I was so carnal, you know what I'm saying, when I first came into truth. And I remember rolling. I was talking to this brother, and I'm like, I didn't have a name yet. I'm like, man, I hope my name's something hard, like Demon Slayer or something. You know what I mean? And the brother was like, well, first you gotta slay demons. You know what I'm saying? and I started dying laughing. But when I got my name in Philly, you know what I'm saying, General Muhammad came out the back, wrote, 2 letters on the board. Come on. And everybody else in there knew what was going on but me. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know what the hell was going on. And everybody looking around. Also, everybody started looking at me. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all looking at me now. And I'm like, what's going on? So then he's like, young man, come up. So you know what I'm saying? So he goes to give me my name. And he's like, Katazar. Come on. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, all right, 3 syllables. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, all right, wanted 4. Yeah, I wanted a Ya'ala. You know what I mean? Now, Marty, I'm carnal as hell. I'm just telling y'all, like, I'm gonna tell y'all the truth. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna throw myself under the bus real quick, right? But and now I'm like, all right, well, I hope that shit's something hard, because you got to realize, like, you know what I mean? I was around like Kathumgabar. Right. It was like Golden Conqueror. You know what I mean? It was like Taza Warrior Allah, Flint of the Power. You know what I'm saying? It was like Tazaryak. It was a Stronghold. Mawakwa, Focus. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was like all these like hard names and shit. Like GB. You know what I'm saying? What's your name? War Angel. I'm like, oh shit. You know what I'm saying? I got my name, and I'm like, what is it? Like Arrow. I kid you not, I sat down, I quit smoking weed for this shit. I was like, so now, like, I guess I couldn't hide my countenance. I sat down, and Captain Shapan Napash, You know what I'm saying? Big shout out to Captain Shapar and the Posh. And all the generals, captains, and officers that I named, not to exclude your rank, but you know what I'm saying? But I'm talking to Captain Shapar, and he looked at me, he goes, "You don't know what you're named from?" And I'm like, nah, you know what I'm saying? So he takes me to this scripture right here, right? So this is Zechariah. If you could bring me to 9 and I believe, let's start at 12.
It's the book of Zechariah, chapter 9 and verse 12. Turn you to the stronghold, ye prisoners of hope. Even today do I declare that I will render double unto thee. Verse 13. When I have bent Judah for me, fill the bow with Ephraim.
So he started reading this and talking about, like, you know what I'm saying, like Judah's the bow, you know what I'm saying, Ephraim's the arrow that they get filled with. This is the north and the southern kingdom coming together. You know what I'm saying? Which was always supposed to, because back then it was only like one Ephraimite in the true. It was Cat Mosh. You know what I'm saying? It was so few Latinos back then. He's like, you know, just know it's not a Judite thing. I'm like, I don't care if it was. You know, I'm here. They get like, but please keep reading.
Come on.
Kanawakan, fill the bow with Ephraim, and raise up thy sons, O Zion, against the sons, O Greece.
So this was literally like a prophecy about, you know, in the last days, Judah and Ephraim were supposed to be forged as a weapon against, you understand, the Edomites.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And that's what that was. Now, what's interesting is the verse before mentioned stronghold, Captain Zaryak, you know what I'm saying? But keep reading.
Kanawakan, against thy sons, O Greece, and made thee as the sword of a mighty man.
You understand it? Meaning that, like, that's what makes us strong against our enemies. That's what makes us like a warrior. You understand? A man of valor is when we come together forged as a weapon against our enemies. Like, we have to be able to come together. Could you read the next verse?
Kanawakan. So like verse 14. And the Lord shall be over them, and his arrow shall go forth as the lightning, and the Lord God shall blow the trumpet, and shall go with whirlwinds of the south.
And listen, man, ain't none of that happening if you understand, if we don't come together like a bow and arrow.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, ain't none of that happening if we don't Most High in Christ, if we don't get forged together. And a Judite teaching me that scripture uplifted my countenance and gave me pride inside my name.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Listen, if I could, I want to give a big shout out to Eric Bruder. The brother gave us a $50 donation on the chat. You know what I'm saying? And then the brother also said, salute to ISUBK for the truth and bringing all 12 tribes together as one family.
Damn right.
Where we at, Cap?
You mind if we get this video?
Please. Somebody was watching the Chicago Bulls.
If you go unmute it, brother.
And their part in all right. Well, this Hispanic Heritage Month, we are highlighting the history of Latinos and their part in history, helping Blacks escape slavery. Fox 26's Dominic Keith is in Galveston with the story.
Typically, when we think of the history of slavery here in Texas, we think of Juneteenth in Galveston. But I'm speaking with a couple of historians today who say we need to think of that history even further south, because decades before Juneteenth, Hispanics were helping enslaved Blacks escape to Mexico.
The Mexican government welcomed fugitive slaves.
Documents dating back beyond the 1800s here in the Galveston and Texas History Center that historians Samuel Collins III and Dr. Juan Galvan are showing me give a new outlook on the Underground Railroad, which most equate to the system that helped slaves escape north to freedom.
We often think about Canada, but enslaved people in Texas actually ran south to Mexico because Mexico had outlawed slavery.
Although not everyone describes the help Hispanics gave as work on the railroad.
Because when you say Underground Railroad, that implies a network as sophisticated as the one to Canada.
But Dr. Galvan says research shows Hispanic abolitionists were well organized, as many came together to help thousands of enslaved Blacks in Texas make it to freedom in Mexico.
There were many marriages between Mexican men, and African American enslaved women.
Part of the story is that people were not just waiting to be rescued.
Collins says some slaves saved for years to pay to be taken to Mexico. When Texas was still Mexican territory, it was illegal to have slaves here, so slave owners began drafting contracts like this. The papers would claim the people listed, including some as young as 3 years old, agreed to work for them for life.
For the term of 99 years to learn the art and mystery of farming and planting.
So friends to the South stepped in.
Stop it right there. Good. And let me tell you something. You know why something like this is never brought out? Because the white man don't ever want you to think that you are family.
Right.
That's why this piece of history don't ever get brought out. Like something like this, you got to go search for this. But they'll tell you about Canada.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Oh yeah, they just went to Canada. You know what I'm saying? They won't only want you to think that some white people helped you or it was just your tribe that particularly helped you. But here we learning that Hispanics, you know what I'm saying, helped us in the time that we needed help. You see what I'm saying? But they don't never bring that out or teach this in American schools because they do not want the 12 tribes to come together.
That's right.
And
sir.
the thing of it is, like the brother was bringing out, we have to come together because we ain't coming out of slavery without each other.
That's right.
It's like a car. You know what I'm saying? You might have the body of the car, but you need them 4 wheels to roll. Without Hispanic black people, you ain't getting from up under the slavery. I hate to tell you, God require, according to the Bible, that we be one family. Because we all come from one man, a black man named Jacob. All 12 tribes. Puerto Ricans, they come from Jacob. Dominicans, guess where they come from? Jacob. The Native Indians, Jacob. These was Jacob's sons. All of them. You understand? Negroes, you come from Jacob too. Now, why don't you know this history? Because I could go in the Bible and pull scriptures where it says one of the curses that we would serve, that we would be up under, is us losing our identity. Identity is important. White people know when they snatch their identity, and they snatch their identity from all 12 tribes.
That's right.
Puerto Ricans was Ephraimites before they was Puerto Ricans. They don't know that. They don't know who they were. Mexicans don't know who they were before they was Mexicans. They don't know they the tribe of Issachar.
Right.
You so-called Negroes, we tell y'all, we the real Jews. You like, nigga, please.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? You don't know. Dominicans, they don't know they was the tribe of Simeon. So all 12 tribes were cut off from who they were because the curses that's in Mission and Deuteronomy happened to blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. It just wasn't one tribe. You see what I'm saying? So they don't ever want it to come in your mind that look at all this history of blacks helping Hispanics and Hispanics helping blacks. This brother got a ton of, we probably ain't gonna be able to go over all the stuff here tonight.
Right.
That the brother's showing Hispanics helping blacks and blacks helping Hispanics because they don't want you to ever think, you know what I'm saying, that you family.
Yeah, that's right.
If
I could briefly, Cap,
Please.
and this clip that Captain Cotter's also massively put up here, it shows that it's at the same time in history, but now it's reversed. It's time for us to help our Hispanic brothers because currently, how they had a 3-year-old signing a contract of 99 years of life to learn the mysteries of farming. Now they got 3-year-olds in ICE court talking about their citizenship and trying to defend themselves without a lawyer.
That's it.
You know what I mean?
Where we at?
Please. I just want to put this out because I know this was a story you put out.
57.
This was a story. This was a story you put out a little bit of time ago or whatever about the brother who wore the Bulls hat. He ended up going to jail. They said they was going to deport the brother. Now, I just looked at the story earlier as well. They still talk about deporting the brother to El Salvador. The brother never been to this is a Hispanic brother.
Yeah.
The brother ain't never been to El Salvador a day in his life.
They
gonna deport him to El Salvador.
They don't care about that. Listen, once again, white supremacy don't care, you know what I'm saying, about your well-being. They deporting Hispanic brothers and sisters out who are actually American citizens.
Like,
what did you thought they was gonna just a white man was gonna be just that meticulous and say, let me see, I'm gonna really just deport. He deporting, he's trying to get rid of Hispanics.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? He's trying to get them the hell out of this land. So when it comes to black people, what you think he gonna be meticulous? You're gonna end up in Nigeria as in a Nigerian prison. You know what I'm saying? In about 2 seconds. They're gonna be shipping black people to countries that you never been to. You're gonna be separated from your families, you know what I'm saying? Something that you thought would never happen.
Right.
And brother, the worst thing that you could be is in a land
in a place that you've never been, don't understand the language, you in a continent you ain't never been to, and now you like, goddamn, you gonna remember this night. It's gonna be some of you dummies that's watching us tonight that ain't gonna pick up, you know what I'm saying, the calls, pick up the burden that Christ told you to pick up in the New Testament. You know what I'm saying? You put that, we say pick up the cross. That means pick up the burden, pick up this work. You're gonna be sitting somewhere in the country in slavery and say, I remember that night, them brothers on the Round Table of Truth told me that I need to go help my Hispanic brothers, and I did not take up the plight. And therefore, I'm in a jammed up situation now. You're gonna remember this night.
Damn right.
Okay. So I guess one of the last things that I want to get into, and this kind of ties into this, is you know what I'm saying, the Alamo. So one of the main, and this is what I used to cut a brother on the other night when he was talking about, it's one of Hispanics ever, you know what I'm saying, fought for black people and so on and so forth. So you know what I mean. So now this is talking about, remember the Alamo. According to Texas law, it's the site in San Antonio where in 1836 about 180 Texan rebels died defending the state during Texas's war for independence from Mexico. The siege of the Alamo was memorably depicted in a Walt Disney series, and that's exactly how they get us. You know what I'm saying? Like putting things inside these movies, and then, you know what I mean, that's what you refer to instead of real history. But and it says in a 1960 movie starring John Wayne, but 3 writers, all Texans, say the common narrative of the Texas Revolt overlooks the fact that it was waged in part to ensure slavery would be preserved. Slavery was the undeniable linchpin of all of this. Author Brian Burroughs says. Brian Burroughs is somebody who gives the alternative history of, you know what I'm saying, what got glossed over, and basically saying forget the Alamo instead of remember the Alamo, and says, you know, it was the thing the two sides had been arguing about and shooting about going on for 15 years, and yet it surprises me that slavery went unexamined for so long. So now it says in their new book, Forget the Alamo, Burroughs co-writer Chris Tomlinson and Jason Stanford challenged the common misconceptions surrounding the conflict, including the notion that Davy Crockett was a martyr who fought to the death rather than surrender. Most academics now believe, based on Mexican accounts and contemporary accounts, in fact, Crockett did surrender and was executed, Burroughs say. But, you know, they try to make it out like, you know, Davy Crockett, king of the wild frontier, you know what I mean? Born on a mountain in Tennessee, right? That's what they tell you to sing. And it says the story of the Alamo has been central to the whole Texas creation myth. Burroughs says, but it's past time to look critically at the heroic Anglo narrative. And it says one of the reasons it matters most is that Latinos are poised to become majority in Texas, according to the consensus date. He says, so if there's ever been a time to have this conversation. So now it says, on Texas history often fails to address slavery. It still surprises me that slavery went unexamined for so long. But you have to understand the Texas Revolt for 150 years was largely ignored by academics in part because it was considered declasse. It was considered provincial, and because the state government of Texas, as much as has done for 120, 130 years, has made it very clear that the University of Texas faculty and to the faculty of other state-funded universities that it only wants one type of Texas history taught. And that going outside of those boundaries, you're going to hear about it from legislators. You know what I'm saying? So the real history that they start, you know what I'm saying, breaking down, which I want to scroll down a little bit further to get down here, is basically that hold on. So basically is that just to sum everything up as to what happened. Mexico, what we just, you know what I'm saying, heard in that video, outlawed slavery.
Right.
From it outlawing slavery, white people who were, you know what I'm saying, living inside of Texas, they wanted to maintain slaves. Like Texas wanted to keep slavery so bad. Could you do me a favor? Could you pull up a map of Texas and Oklahoma? You know what I'm saying? And I want to show y'all something, you know what I'm saying, real specific for y'all to be able to see like how bad Texas wanted to always maintain slavery. let me know whenever you got it. But the point being is that's what the battle at the Alamo was really over. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't so much where they talk about Texas's independence.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They wanted to just be able to freely have slaves. So as a result, Mexican soldiers, you know what I'm saying, teamed up with North American Indians and so-called African Americans and fought to the death. You understand, to try to be able to keep their independence from being enslaved.
Gave their life.
Yes, sir.
For these brothers. You know what I'm saying?
Even to a point where they raised the red flag. You know what I'm saying like, white flag is surrender. The red flag was we fighting to the death.
Right. Damn.
You know what I'm saying? They're like there's no surrender, no retreat.
Right.
You know what I mean? But this is another part of history that a lot of people don't know about. Could you throw the map on the screen? Okay. All right. So now, do y'all see that little sliver? You know what I'm saying? That looks like scroll up a little bit so that they could see, like above Texas, right? You see that orange line?
Come.
That's the border of Oklahoma, right? The red line is Texas. But now, do you see that Oklahoma randomly has that little lip going to the left above Texas? Like Texas should be up more and squared off.
Right.
Texas gave that land to Oklahoma so that they would be below the Dixon line so they could keep slavery.
Good night.
So like that little perfectly, you know what I'm saying, rectangular shape should be a part of the Texas border. But they gave that to Oklahoma to say, we trying to keep slavery going.
It should have went straight up instead of like divert off.
Exactly.
So it should have just went straight up.
Right.
They gave them that little.
Right. They were like, what mile marker we need? Yeah. Just trim a little bit off the top.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? so that this way they would be able to stay below the Dixon line and then keep slavery going.
That's diabolical.
It's crazy, right?
If I could, sir, what y'all saying, so like, if I could, what y'all saying is so heavy. It shows how
our oppressor will go to any leaps and bounds just to oppress so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians.
Damn right.
They'll do anything to keep us at the bottom. So like,
that's it. You know what I'm saying? Give it up. You know what I mean? Now keep that back. I don't know why this thing is cutting them brothers off like that. You know what I'm saying? Open that thing. Open it where you can see the crowd. I don't know why y'all got that like that.
Oh no, it's another camera for the crowd, sir.
Oh, okay. I'm saying, but we should be able to have a clear path to see the brothers.
Come.
And they ain't never been to where I can't see them. That's all I'm saying. Oh yeah, with it. Damn right.
So,
you know what I'm saying? Listen, so all listeners, you know what I'm saying? Listen, you can hear that. we working together, getting it together. Where we at with it?
So these are the things that they always portray. Like I said, like, you know what I'm saying, in order to lie, to make themselves look glorious and like seem as if like, these Texans was trying to fight off, you know what I'm saying, Mexico. And what's crazy is, I've been to the campsite that we have, you know what I'm saying, in San Antonio. And you got to think about, you know what I'm saying, tourism wise, even how many blacks and Latinos, you know what I'm saying, come to hear about, American history and see this historic site. Right. And they don't even understand that historic site and what they're telling you was not freedom for America. It was for your enslavement.
Right.
It was for your oppression.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying? And now think about like all the things we discussed. So there was an underground railroad of Mexico freeing so-called African Americans. Right. You know what I'm saying? There was a battle that was fought to the death. You know what I'm saying? There was riots where we were oppressed together. There's literal grassroots movements that was inspired by each other where we actually, you know what I'm saying, linked up together in order to make the community better. And all this is getting swept under the rug. You understand for what? You know what I'm saying? Like that's the one thing that I don't understand about FBAs is, and I think I said this last time on the show. What nation, right, doesn't have allies?
Right.
Even America got the UN.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like Russia got BRICS. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Like Africa got the AU.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But all of a sudden, you Negroes over here in America think you guys are going to be the only standalone people and you don't need allies. Like if we remove a biblical narrative, right, to turn around and say, you know what I'm saying, like that we're not, you know what I'm saying, brothers and cousins that all descend from Jacob.
Right.
But Taínos went on slave ships.
That's right.
Taínos was enslaved. Mexicans went on slave ships. Mexicans was enslaved. You know what I'm saying? The indigenous. Gad, the North American Indian, was enslaved, went on slave ships. You know what I'm saying? Was oppressed by legislature. You know what I'm saying? Affected by colonization. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're all children of the same diaspora. You know what I'm saying? Like, pain alone makes us brothers and sisters.
Right.
And we have a common enemy.
That's it.
Right.
Who better to ally with?
Right. Right, sir.
Somebody, if I can get it,
please,
let me get Jeremiah chapter 50 and 34. Somebody can pull that for me real fast. So what you're bringing out is so heavy. Once again, you know what I'm saying? They don't want us to ever think that we brothers, and they do that by not educating you on the history that Hispanics went on slave ships. You know, a lot of people probably didn't even know that Hispanics went on slave ships, Native American Indians went on slave ships before black people ever went on slave ships. And of course, you don't know that because the white man doesn't teach that in his schools, because he don't want us to see the similarities in our struggle.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Which is key. It's a psychological game that they've been playing on us for a very long time. And the last thing you want to do as a man is get played.
Right.
You know, who got that for me?
I got that, sir.
Read.
So I started 33, sir.
No, give me 34.
Khan.
No. Yeah, that's the one I want, 33.
Khan, sir.
Yep.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 50, verse 33. Thus said the Lord of hosts.
The Lord of what?
The Lord of hosts.
Read on.
The children of Israel and the children of Judah.
Why does it say the children of Israel? Is talking about the so-called Hispanic tribes, and it says the children of Judah, talking about the so-called Negroes, West Indians, and so-called Haitians. Read that from the top again.
Khan.
Go ahead.
Thus said the Lord of hosts.
The Lord of hosts, meaning the Lord of armies. Read.
The children of Israel and the children of Judah.
And the what?
The children of Judah.
Read.
Were oppressed together.
What? The what?
Were oppressed together.
Blacks and Hispanics been oppressed in America together. Ever since the white man came over here to the Americas, he ain't decided to say, I'm gonna oppress one and not the other.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? He came over here on the shores in the 1400s and began to oppress the Native American Indians by taking their land.
Right.
By putting them in slavery.
Right.
He did the same thing in South America with the Hispanics. You know what I'm saying? Forced them to take their religion. And then he went over there and got the so-called Negroes who were on the west coast part of Africa. You left the captivity in 70 AD when hid in Africa, but you're not African.
Right.
And what they did was they said, we're going to go ahead and enslave all 12 tribes. And they done it. You understand? That is a strategic and a sophisticated, you know what I'm saying, evil, like something you could not believe, to say you're going to enslave the 12 tribes, because they've done the research and they understood that who those tribes were.
Right.
This is who we are. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. You can try to be whatever you want to be, but at the end of the day, you are what the Lord made you to be.
Right.
A lion can try to act like a duck. You know what I'm saying? He can get raised around some ducks and try to crack like a duck. Right. But one day he gonna wake up and say, I'm a lion. You know what I'm saying? And I got teeth. You know what I'm saying? I don't quack like a duck. And he gonna, when he go be who he is, then he'll start to, you know what I'm saying, have some success. He ain't a duck, so he can't be a duck. You will never be an American. You would never be accepted by this place. Blacks and Hispanics will never, ever be accepted by this place, because God ain't make you to be accepted.
Right.
God made Blacks and Hispanics and Native Americans and Indians to do one thing, and that's rule over the earth.
That's right.
Because you the only people on the earth that got a heart, you know what I'm saying, to where you can, you know, lead the other races on the earth. The other nations ain't meant to lead. That's why they destroying the earth now with nuclear bombs flying every goddamn way, because they wasn't meant to sit on the royal seats.
Right.
Blacks and Hispanics and Native American Indian, you were meant to sit on the royal seats because you're the only one that can understand what the Most High want done. You're the only one that can have sympathy. White people don't even have sympathy for their goddamn self. You know what I'm saying? If they killed all us, they'll begin to kill each other.
Right.
You understand? Because that's all they know. Keep reading.
Khan.
Please.
And all that took them captives.
And all that did what?
Took them captives.
We all took captives here in America. Keep reading.
Held them fast.
Held them what?
Held them fast.
They don't ever plan on letting you go. That's what it means to hold somebody fast. They want you to be in this captivity and this slavery forever. Keep reading.
They refused to let them go.
They were what?
They refused to let them go.
Keep reading.
verse 34. Their redeemer is strong.
But they what?
Their redeemer is strong.
Man, what is it to redeem somebody? It's to raise somebody from the dead. That's what it is to be redeemed. The Bible said that redeemer is strong. Who is our redeemer? Yahweh.
That's right.
You understand? In the ancient Hebrew, the God, not Allah. You understand? Not white Jesus, but Yahweh,
right?
The God of blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. You heard what the Lord said. The Redeemer is strong. And how is the Lord redeeming blacks and Hispanics and Native American Indians? By shows like this podcast. We about to go have camp tomorrow. A ton of brothers gonna speak on the street. You know how the Lord redeeming us? It ain't even with weapons. You know what I'm saying? Our weapons is right here in the mind. You know what I'm saying? Fixing the mental illness, you know what I'm saying, that we suffer. Right now, blacks and Hispanics and Native American Indians suffer severe mental illness for being in captivity for 400 some odd years. Brother, we in such a state of confusion that people look at us and think it's impossible. It is impossible for us to come back, you know what I'm saying, and be restored as the Lord's people. Keep reading.
Go ahead. The Lord of hosts is his name.
The Lord is what?
The Lord of hosts.
The Lord, he didn't said it twice. You know what I'm saying? That Lord of hosts. Once again, the word host, it means armies. You understand? And if the Lord of hosts is his name, and we the people of God, then what we supposed to be? We supposed to be a people of war. You know what I'm saying? War when necessary. And right now, it's time that it's necessary. You know what I'm saying? For us to go to war if you're a black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man. No man watches what's being done to Hispanics and say, man, I'm going to just let that be. That ain't got nothing to do with me. But one day it's going to have something to do with you. One day, that same thing that Hispanics going through that you trying to ignore as a black man, it's going to show up on your doorstep. And when it show up on your doorstep, we're going to see how you react.
Right.
See, in the ISUBK, we ain't waiting for it to show up on our doorstep. We know that our brothers, you know what I'm saying, these are our brothers. You know what I'm saying? It's natural for us to help one another. You know what I'm saying? It's unnatural to not do it. You know what I'm saying? And the only people who not going to do it is people who are just mental slaves who don't want to come up against the white man, but they will come up against their fellow brother.
Damn right.
They will do that. That's the coward's way out. Keep reading.
Go
ahead.
He shall thoroughly plead their cause.
He shall what?
Thoroughly plead their cause.
Both sides pleading our cause right now by bringing all nations down into that Middle East. He pleading the cause now. You know what I'm saying? Y'all think this ceasefire gonna last? Are you kidding me? They're gonna be right back going to war, dropping bombs over there. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what God want them to do. The God want them nations to destroy each other because first and foremost, they own holy land over there in the Middle East.
Right.
White people walking around talking about they the Jews. You understand? And it ain't ever been such thing as a white Jew ever in the history of the world.
That's right.
You understand? And the Lord bringing them together, bringing them over there in that Middle East to destroy them.
Right.
But while he's doing that, you're going to have some badass niggas. And when I say niggas, I mean all 12 tribes. You're going to have some badass niggas in the ISUBK that go out there and raise up these 12 tribes like something you can believe.
Damn right, sir.
Any more on that? Read it.
That he may give rest to the land.
They may do what?
Give rest to the land.
That rest is talking about us as a people. It's saying land, but it's a metaphor. That rest that the Lord going to give to the land, it's talking about us as a body of people. Because right now we not in rest. We're in a state of confusion.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We being persecuted. You know what I'm saying? The cops doing whatever the hell they want to us. You know what I'm saying? They shipping our brothers outside of the country. They shooting us on the drop of a dime. I mean, they oppressing the hell out of us, man. You know what I'm saying? We working these jobs, ain't getting the pay we supposed to get. Blacks and Hispanics are wore out in this kingdom. And the only thing that's gonna give you rest is the knowledge of the truth.
Damn right.
I guess I mean really just I piggyback off what you were saying. Like I really don't. It's hard to think about like the dysfunction and the things that go on. Like, how can I explain this? It's like things in the truth become so second nature. It's like we become so insulated.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I do not suffer, you know what I'm saying, through any of the things really that like, you know what I'm saying, like our people are going through in the world. Or it's like, or if we do, it's cheerful, it's graceful, it's like it's nothing really.
Yeah, kind of.
You know what I'm saying? In comparison, like, and especially because it's like we got family here. You know what I'm saying? It is, and it doesn't matter like what the occasion. It's like COVID. It's like somebody got some extra food. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or we got something stockpiled. Like, you know what I'm saying, to defend. It's like you might not have AAA. You got, you know what I'm saying, how many brothers you could call 3 a.m. if your car breaks down. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it's like I don't even. It'd be crazy because it's like, outside of having to deal with you know, brothers and sisters in the world, like, you know what I'm saying, like how Captain Zaryak does, going into certain spaces and communicating, I'm not around dysfunction at all. You know what I'm saying? Or like, you know, you especially like if you ain't been to slavery in a minute, and then you got to go around people in the world and they're like, Jesus Christ, this is how y'all act.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like just everybody out of order, backstabbing. So it's like the things that we say sound crazy to people because it's non-existent outside of here. You know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't even make sense for that level of consideration and brotherhood to even be in existence, but it is.
That's right.
And that's another reason why, like, you know, I enjoy every Passover.
Damn
You know
right,
what I'm
sir.
saying? But to this day, my favorite was Florida. And I think the reason being was because we had that whole spot.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, with the exception of having to go get some food, we were always just around each other. We had like no heathen, you know, interference. You didn't feel the presence of even the employees there. It's like it was the complete takeover, man. And it's like when you just leave us be. You know what I'm saying? Like, and especially like under this code, under the Most High's laws, statutes, and commandments, like we thrive.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Go ahead.
You talk about 2022, Love My Brothers.
I couldn't tell you what year.
I know it was.
That was Florida.
My brain doesn't register like
I wanted
that.
to see if it was 2022. The blue ring around the coat, the cover. I don't want to say jacket, the cover. Hebrew Academy 2022. I think that was that year you talking about. So I just wanted to commemorate that because of course I was a part of it.
I was gonna mess with you, but in the spirit, in the spirit of brotherhood, I'm not gonna say nothing. You know what I'm saying? You're right, bro. It was a great year. but yeah, that was that year, and I got one of them covers that with the ring on it. You know what I'm saying, with the border of blue. Speaking of, man, I got to get one of them embroidered joints from Yatazar.
Carnival Con, sir.
Ooh wee.
Real Nigga University.
No. They got another cover where it's embroidered.
Oh yeah, I
into
seen
the
that
back.
joint.
That joint is
Big
crazy.
Shout out to Officer Yatazar. Right. Another brother, strong brother out of New York City, you know what I'm saying, under the tutelage of Captain Tazar, y'all got there, you know what I'm saying? That whole
Damn
New York
right.
camp is strong, man. Y'all got some strong brothers out there, brothers like yourself, man, you know what I mean, and dove and dive into that history because we need to know this history out. You know what I'm saying? A lot of our people don't know that. And this is the reason why we don't need to go to white people's schools. You see what I'm saying? Like going to white people's schools ain't helping us, man. At all. What we in there learning? You mean to tell me blacks and Hispanics, we can't educate ourselves?
Right.
I mean, what are we talking about, man? Our forefathers, you know what I'm saying, were fools. They fought to be integrated. We integrated, you know what I'm saying? And the integration, it only made us worse. Black people, we wasn't as bad as what we are now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We integrated with America, you know what I'm saying, and became crackheads.
Carnival Con.
We integrated with America, and when we integrated, the black man was removed from the home. We had broken homes. But before we integrated, when we was going to black schools, being educated by each other, your most inventors came from schools that right after slavery, you know what I'm saying? That's where a lot of your black inventors came from, all black schools.
Right.
So this old misconception about we have to go to white people, you know what I'm saying, to be educated by them to become better Americans, it has failed. Can't you see that? You can't see that. We're going to act like we just all blind, dumb, and stupid and see, you know what I'm saying, that we have become just like them.
Damn right.
If you go get educated by your enemy, you're going to walk around with the mind of your enemy. And your enemy naturally hates you. Now, you hate each other. You Negroes talking about, you know what I'm saying, trying to be opposition to Hispanic. Nigga, you're opposition to yourself.
Right.
You act like black people together. We hate each other. Like, I mean, what we talking about here? You know what I'm saying? Relax. Let ISUBK, you know what I'm saying, take the lead on this. You don't know what you're talking about at all.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like the brother just mentioned in the comment, it was slavery in Mexico. Yes, it was slavery throughout all the Americas.
Right.
You know, so we got pictures in the school where Hispanic brothers is hanging up on trees like we hung up on trees.
Damn right.
We got signs in here where it say, don't allow blacks and Mexicans in this restaurant.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? You acting like you the only one that didn't suffer here in this place. That's a person that's not educated and you don't know what you're talking about.
Right.
Everybody ain't meant to be leaders. Too many of you cats got podcasts, you know what I'm saying? And you coming on here with your stupid ass opinion, you know what I'm saying? And got, you just not meant to be a leader. And for you people, you know what I'm saying, that's being led by these fools, they're gonna lead you right into a ditch. You know, you imagine you follow somebody, walk right into a damn ditch. That's what's gonna happen, you know what I'm saying, when you choose bad leadership. Choose the right leadership.
Right.
Right. You know what I'm saying? That leadership is Commander Jenny Hanna and the ISUPK.
Damn right, sir.
Any closing words, Cap?
Well, once again, to piggyback off what you said, listen, Baraka Hawaii was shot for leading me to the UPK, because you know what I'm saying, like the horror stories that I hear outside of here are like you wouldn't believe them. You know what I'm saying? Like that shit about Sakari. I'd never believe that without that proof. It's so outlandish. It's It's so scandalous. It's like this shit sounds like he did what on Tinder, and like you know what I'm saying, or just you know what I'm saying, like the things you hear coming out of this place, that place. You know what I'm saying. So for us to be that let that be a message for any single one of you that's scared of your woman. You understand it, and won't come up in here. Who's straddling the fence, you understand, worried about losing a job that's gonna fire you anyway. Right. You know what I'm saying? Whatever the case may be, y'all better come up under Commander General Yohana inside here. Y'all better call your local, you understand, Most High in Christ, ISUPK captain, and say, all right, what I need, all black, where I gotta go. You understand? And just shut your mouth for just a little time, just a season. And learn. That's what I did. You know what I'm saying?
And listen, you said real quick.
Yes, sir.
You sisters, man, if your husband got you going to get a pagan kid out that closet, we want you to call your local ISUPK school. If he's telling you every sister, I couldn't imagine telling sister go in that closet and get that pagan kid. I'm gonna get up in this bed and assume the position, you know.
Good night.
I'm gonna put my face down in the pillow. You know what I'm saying? This is what's going on in these fake caps. You see what I'm saying? And if your husband is requiring you to do that, you sisters pick up the phone and call ISUPK Milwaukee. Call it. DA, he's sitting right there. Let DA take the call. I don't want to take that call. You called me with that? I was like, hold on. I got a number for you. 708-299. Call that priest right there. You let him know. Let me, you know what I'm saying? And that's gonna be that. Stop going to these fake camps. It ain't but one school. The original school that taught who the 12 tribes were is the ISUPK. They can't take that away from us. We ain't went nowhere. Sir. We ain't changed. Commander Jenniana ain't dropped this sword. You know what I'm saying? None of these other camps are valid. And if you join them, you're gonna find out.
I'm right.
Man, so with that, man, I want to give it up to Captain
Christ.
Hell of a show. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate you joining us, Cap.
Yes, sir.
Of course, Cap gonna be joining us, you know what I mean, more frequently as well, doing more topics and more interesting things, you know what I mean. Any closing statements, Cap?
That's definitely, you know what I'm saying, Thawada for having me, Thawada for the invite.
Damn right,
you know
give it up, man.
Always
right, sir.
You know, the amazing hospitality. If y'all haven't, man, we got a lot of content we're working on right now. Thawada for everybody who's long suffered, but subscribe to Tribe Vibes. Also, if y'all haven't, man, we got a t-shirt that dropped, you know what I'm saying, with that KKK member swanging. You know what I'm saying? The link is going back out. I put it on hold for a second
put the link in the chat for the church.
I wouldn't maybe next week, you know what I'm saying? Otherwise they gonna be on back order. You know what I'm saying? I'm in travels right now. I gotta get to my next destination before I start putting these shirts. I don't need y'all custom me. I ain't get my shirt in 10 days. Listen, man, I am not Jeff Bezos. We do not got Amazon Prime over here. So shipping gonna run a little slower. But we gonna have some products, man. You know what I'm saying, and make sure that y'all support, and that's gonna be funding a lot of the stuff that we're doing. So support your brothers and you know what I'm saying. Stream the music on and off Tribe Vibes. You know what I'm saying.
Man, also I want to give it up, you know what I mean, to my co-host Lamak Yala. You understand? Any announcements, Lamak?
Come on. As always, go make sure to like, follow, share all the Roundtable of Truth, Real Nigga University social media pages out there. You know, saying if you want to make a donation to the UPK Chicago, even in the Midwest, make sure to put a donation in that super chat. We got it back active thanks to our technical team. And say, make sure to go out to Fayetteville, North Carolina next weekend, July 3rd through the 6th. Right. You understand? Over in North Carolina, they be doing their thing all weekend. And of course, right after that, we got the Midwest Fire Weekend over here in Chicago. Right. You understand? If you want to make a donation to that, we got to go fund me out on the social medias. It's going to be a hella packed weekend. And not right after that, Cap, if you don't mind, you want to shout out your cookout in Harlem?
Oh yes, that's going to be the last week in August. August 31st is the date of the cookout. You know what I'm saying, and we definitely having another breakdance battle this year. You know what I'm saying, so pull up.
Listen, I might enter that thing. I don't know, I might get in there do a little something. Me and my partner's out, you know what I'm saying?
Spin on the cardboard
robot.
Yeah, go ahead, Lamar.
Lastly but not least, you know, make sure to pay your tithes to the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge.
Right. Listen, also, you know what I'm saying, we'll let you know we're going to be in Kansas City, Missouri tomorrow. Big shout out to Officer Malak down there in Kansas City. ISBK Chicago, ISBK Iowa, St. Louis, a few other camps. Gonna be down there. The brother having a lecture called the Black Excellence. We also gonna be having a camp right after the lecture. If you're in the Kansas City, Missouri area, you know what I'm saying, just go to ISBK Kansas City to get that information. Come to the lecture, it's free. Come to camp, come meet the brothers, come break bread with us, man. We ain't gonna hurt you, we ain't gonna bite you. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna probably pour a drink for you, you know what I'm saying? Give you some food, be kind to you, you know what I'm saying? Because our kindness and our brotherhood and sisterhood is what's needed in this particular day and time, you know what I'm saying? So we'll be out there in Kansas City, Missouri tomorrow. And like the brother was saying, we got the cookout coming on down there in North Carolina. Big shout out to them brothers as well, you know what I mean? Midwest Fire Weekend coming up, man. Listen, the work don't stop. One thing about us, we do not stop working in this truth. You know what I mean? So big shout out Officer Lamak Yala for the announcements as well. Also, I want to give it up to Officer Yaradan, give him a hand. Yaradan, go ahead, plug what you need to plug, bro.
Yeah, if you looking for any of the glorious merch you see on the Roundtable of Truth or all through it, out Israel, you know what I'm saying? Captain Katazai over here representing right now.
Man, put him on. Show him that Real University. Captain Katazai.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Go to diversitymall.com. Diversitymall.com.
Right. Get you one of them Real Nigga Universities, okay? But again, if you ain't a real nigga, you can't buy this shirt.
Don't do it.
I'm telling you, if you ain't a real nigga, the shirt gonna just tarnish on you. You know what I'm saying? You'll be like, damn, what happened?
Disintegrate.
Yeah, you gonna go to sleep that night and your dream, my face gonna pop up. I told you hit a real nigga. Did I tell you? Who told you to buy that shirt? I also want to go ahead and run one. Right. That you ain't no real nigga, don't buy it. Yeah. So also too, man, we want to give it up to Officer Iowa Lum. You know what I'm saying? Give it up. Anything you want to plug, Iowa Lum? All right. Also, we want to give it up to Officer Mayad in here. You know what I'm saying? Got anything, Mayad?
A few things if I could, Captain.
Please.
If I could, like Officer Lamarck said, right after this glorious cookout in Carolina, you know what I'm saying, we got the Midwest Fire Weekend. Tickets are on sale on Eventbrite right now. Go to ISUBK on Eventbrite, reserve your tickets. Also, reserve your hotel rooms because they are going fast. You know what I mean? If you want to get a hotel room, we have reserved the hotel block for you. If you want to get your room, I suggest you do that today as I'm speaking.
Damn right.
You know what I mean? Also, every Saturday in whatever zone you are in, tune into the ISUPK Sabbath service.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Tune into that Sabbath service so you can give your proper dues to the Lord and worship the Lord the proper way. We read the Bible from, Genesis to Revelations in the ancient Hebrew first, and then in the English, so you can get a proper understanding and breakdown of your history, your language, and your identity.
Damn right. Give it up. Give it up. I also want to give it up to my technical team, Officer Ramawan, Officer Raj Karab. Big shout out to ISUPK Milwaukee. We got Captain Bob Moff in the house.
Right.
You understand? He got with him Officer Lacombe. We got all, you understand? Damn right. Officer Kazai one in the building.
Damn right.
Officer Mapata Zai. And what's your son's name? Zahar in the building. You understand? He over there with his headphones on. He got his laptop. Don't nobody bother him. Nothing, leave him alone. All right. I'm Captain Mal Quad, Under Commander Jenny Hanna, Lord allow. We see you next week. Shalom.
Right.
Majority of the world is telling a Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian woman what they want to hear.
No, what we need to do is try to come together as a race of people and stop being persecuted and murdered in the streets.
And when we worship the God of these other nations, we give all of our resources and all our love and dedication to their gods.
That man is supposed to be the head of the household. Hands down, period, point blank, because he will lead you correctly.
Yasha my Allah. Give everybody a couple seconds to go ahead and write that down.
Wife is going to be a mother of nations. She's going to give birth to kings. Do you know what I mean? Can you imagine that?
Welcome to ISUPK Detroit. Check us out on all social media platforms. Classes are Monday through Saturday. Monday is the history class from 7 to 9 p.m. Tuesday is scripture breakdown. Wednesday is biblical law class. Friday, Lashawan Kodash, Hebrew language. Saturday, the Sabbath service. Check out our community service program. We have food and clothing drives, helping the people in need. And we also have felony expungement services available. Join us and get involved.
And the Bible is just such an amazing book. It's a book of literal prophecy of the future of what's to play out on the planet Earth. Everything that the Lord laid down and said will happen comes to pass. And that's an amazing thing to have at your disposal. You got a book that tells you the future.
And they shall no more. In the 8th verse it said we was going to be a prey to the heathen. But then God was going to come deliver us, man, and show us the truth of who we are.
That's something that you hear out of a cartoon or something you hear out of an anime or something like that. But this is actual real life to the point where you can look at these prophecies and open up a historical book. You can go into archaeology and see that, damn, the prophecy came before the event actually happened.